Welcome to episode 243 of the Overlook Hour. I'm your host, Clark Little. Along with me, as always, is the man in Oakland, California. I'm looking at him via video access on zencaster.com/Overlook Hour podcast /episode 243-intros. It's Randy Michael Stab.
Yes, that's me. I called this part intros because we have two intros and we don't have different names for them, so.
I'm not into labels, you know that, Russell John Fisher.
What? Was that my cue? I mean, hey, everybody, how you doing?
Also, off camera is Oksana Valerievna Osachi.
Hi.
Are you on microphone? I can barely hear you.
I'm here.
She refuses to get close to the mic.
It's right in my face.
Oh, my God.
All right. Somebody's been saucing up on a Sunday.
I know. She's sober. I think that's why she's mad.
Hell yeah.
Mad
Where's
lady like a titty.
What?
I know it's late.
God, we've been talking for 2 minutes and you get titty up there.
I know.
Now we're gonna get a sanction from iTunes, dude. We're gonna get deplatformed because you bring up titty within the first 45 seconds.
Liddy like a. That's Daddy Longneck. I thought you would be down.
Damn Long Neck is his name.
No, Daddy Longneck.
Even though he's like 13.
It's not damn long neck. It's like the spider.
It's damn long neck.
It's Daddy long neck.
It's damn long neck.
No,
dude.
can we get? Everybody's got a computer. Can somebody look it up? It's
I'm
Daddy
a long neck
neck.
historian.
Daddy long neck. It's right there.
But on his social media, it is
Musical
damn
artist.
long neck.
Daddy long neck. Wait,
His social media is
dude, he's
damn
got
long
music.
neck.
Born 1999. My God.
Born on September 15th, 1999 in Flint, Michigan, under
4
the
days.
sign of Virgo. Personality better known as Daddy Longneck.
His social media is damn long neck. Look it up. Joining us on this week's episode is filmmaker Jorge Torres-Torres from the motion picture Fat Tuesday. We talked to Jorge about his most recent feature film, which was Fat Tuesday. He's also got a whole back catalog, some of which basically Rusty says is still not out there for the light of day. He mentions one feature that he did a few years ago that he said you can't find it anywhere. I don't like it. And our new goal is to try to watch that movie because we support our filmmaker friends.
I think he might have shared it with us, and we're going to watch it tonight.
You may have. Jorge is great. Had a great talk with him. And heads up, Russell really loves Fat Tuesday. May have mentioned that it's in his top 10 of all time, which, again, seems high.
You seem high.
What? See, I set you up and you knock it down. That's why we're a great duo, and we're a lock for this year's Peabody Award for podcast.
Yeah.
Now, what else is in the top 10, Russ?
Also, I tried to trigger you right there by teeing you up with a movie cuck. We're not going to watch it without you.
You say that, but
We're not going to. Also, he's got a whole fucking library. He's got a filmography that he won't share with the world. And we get into that in our hour and a half conversation that I think, again, thank you, Clark, for letting us go long there.
Well, I did pee in the middle of that, so as long as I get to urinate,
Okay.
I gotta stay hydrated.
Wait, did you ask me a question? I can't remember.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay.
Speaking of urination, she just went to pee. It's Oksana Valerievna Osachi.
We are.
TMI. We could
Well, I mean, it was a good
watch the
segue.
video, which Clark movie cooked me with.
Can we drop the movie cuck thing? I hate it. It's
No,
gross.
our life is cucking each other, dude.
No, I hate it. I don't know why. I don't like that word. You use it with glee, and it makes my skin crawl. Like the 2 cents.
Russell, we're in a cuck culture, dude.
Dude, it's a cancel cuck culture. I couldn't do it. Cancel cuck culture.
Dude, no, it's post cuck.
Oh, post cuck.
It's post cuck. We're post cuck, dude. Speaking of pre-cuck, Oksana, tell us what movies are coming out, maybe, or I don't give a shit, whatever.
All right. So we have 2 that are coming to theaters this Friday the 30th. The first of which is The Resort.
What the hell is that?
So it's directed by Taylor Sheen.
Lautner.
Mangold.
4 friends head to Hawaii to investigate reports of a haunting at an abandoned resort in hopes of finding the infamous half-faced girl.
The half-faced girl?
When they arrive, they soon learn you should be careful what you wish for.
That I'm in. Wait, that's gonna play
What
wide?
is that? Oh, it's a door knocker.
It's a door knocker thing.
Give me more information on the half-faced girl. Is she single?
Are you really looking for information? There's not gonna be.
Not about that.
All right, what was this called?
The
Dude.
resort.
Brock
resort.
O'Hearn? That guy's tight.
That is some hair that. Wow.
Whoa. Wait, actors get rated on
No,
Rotten
it's
Tomato?
their highest and lowest movies.
Wait, go back to him. This dude had
Actors
great
don't
hair.
get
If you
rated.
look- I mean, they should.
It's
Highest-
not Mark
Hey, hold on,
Zuckerberg's
hold on.
first website.
So, birthday not available. Birthplace not available. Lowest rated film 4%. Tyler Perry's Boo 2. Highest rated 19%. Tyler Perry's Boo.
Hell yeah,
What the fuck,
Boobs suck. They
Dude,
did not like that movie.
dude! They gave Tyler Perry an Oscar tonight.
dude? Why does Rotten Tomatoes hate Tyler Perry?
I love Tyler Perry. I'm pro Tyler Perry
Oh, they fucking hate him.
all the way.
Okay, The Resort. Is that opening wide?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Great,
It's gonna be-
Tana, you're doing great.
It's gonna be in theaters and streaming. So if it's not playing near us, we can watch it.
We
on
can watch it.
VOD.
All right.
All right, what else we got?
Can you please Google Brock? And I'm talking to Clark, Randy, and our audience right now. Please
Google Brock.
Google Brock O'Hun.
Who's Brock O'Hun?
He's one of the actors in the movie. He's rad. I love him. Even though his-
How do you spell O'Hun?
O apostrophe A O'Hearn. H-U-R-N.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
I thought he was like Hill of the Hun.
Oh, dude, of course you love this guy. You
Look at
want to
him.
be this guy.
Nah, he wants to be me.
God.
I bet he wears 5 rings on
See,
one
man,
hand.
if you were gay and I was gay, we'd be in the totally different dudes.
Or we'd be a great team hitting the bars together.
I think so, because we
Wait,
wouldn't
what
be
kind
into
of
the
dude
same.
would you be into?
I go back and forth.
Okay. Okay. What does the pendulum swing look like?
Like Mads Mikkelsen.
like a very sculpted face and will probably beat you when the doors are closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Henry Cavill's very handsome.
No, I don't know him. Can you look
Superman.
it up? Oh, the kind of ripped one?
Yeah.
Dude, you don't want a chiseled body.
No, the body freaks me out a little bit, but he's got a handsome face.
What was there a gay couple in Drew Carey?
Tom Hardy, I'm over.
Oh, you did have a crush on Tom Hardy. Was there a gay couple in
He's cool.
I think his older brother came out as gay.
that? I could see Clark hooking up with him. Who was that guy?
Who? Who's this guy?
The Drew Carey. You didn't watch Drew Carey?
The Drew Carey Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about The Price is Right.
Are you talking about Colin?
No, the guy who played his brother.
His brother.
Oh, who played his brother?
I don't know, but you date him. Oh, that guy. Oh, he was the murderer in Zodiac.
John Carroll.
Oh. Oh, the director of Lucky. Randy, what's his name?
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name right now too.
Right?
Oh, he's great.
Randy,
I love that guy.
Close your eyes.
Oh, did he really? John Carroll Lynch.
John Carroll Lynch. Dude, I would totally marry John Carroll Lynch.
John Carroll. Okay.
You'd marry.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill.
We would have
Matt
okay.
Nicholson, John Carroll Lynch, and Liam Neeson.
That's tough, dude. Oh god.
Randy
Okay.
is
Okay. You know I love Liam Neeson.
You love a Lynch.
Okay,
too.
okay. You know what? Here we go. I kill Liam Neeson because I respect him so much. And if I did kill him, it would make my dick hard, and I would use that hard dick to fuck Mads Mikkelsen. And then once I'm done with that, then I'll consummate my marriage with John Carroll Lynch. Easy.
All right. And you did the thing that 8 movies in the franchise couldn't, and you killed Liam Neeson.
100%. Neeson's going down, dude.
Oh, you're going to make him go down first.
Oksana, what else we got?
Also coming to theaters on Friday the 30th is a movie that we happened to stumble upon the trailer for on YouTube. It's called Separation. A young girl finds solace in her...
Take 2.
A young girl finds solace in her artist father and the ghost of her dead mother.
And starring Art the Clown?
Maybe. / Art the Clown mixed with the Crooked Man.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Randy, you've got to watch this trailer.
It's nuts.
Okay.
It looks BANANAS.
Do we have a tagline? Okay, Separation. Clark, guess what the tagline is?
Separation.
No breathing.
Oh, damn, you beat me to it.
Don't give a fuck. Randy cuts his arm bleeding.
Girl from
Alright.
Cam is in it.
Oh,
Okay, what's the tagline?
Separation.
No,
We're working on it.
no bleeding. Fucked it up. Sorry,
What-
Pop Roach.
What is it?
You don't guess. You made me do one later on in the episode.
I did. I said separation. We're working on it.
Oh, okay. It won't let go. That doesn't even work. It's like non sequitur. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
All right, Randy, what would you have made as a tagline?
Separation anxiety. More like it.
Dude, I knew you were
That's
going to say
a
that.
song by Diarrhea Planet, and that was also my
Hell yeah.
first thought.
I saw them once at
Alright.
Tree Fort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were good. They were fun.
You remember when we used to see bands?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were supposed to see girl band and then they canceled and then they were supposed to come back and then the pandemic happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when we were supposed to see the remaining member of the Frogs and then we bitched out?
Dude, don't make me feel. I feel
thought that so sold out.
bad.
We probably
no,
did after we fucking pulled.
No, I was
failed
working 6 a.m. those days and I just didn't want to go.
I know, and I
I
couldn't
feel
go
bad.
without him because Clark's the only person I've ever met that enjoys that band with me.
You,
And I was
I
like,
feel
"Oh, can't."
I feel bad for missing that show because
Yeah,
it's
I
not
feel
gonna
bad
happen
for you.
again.
No, it never will.
It's not gonna happen again. Well, glad we could end on the happy note.
Separation.
For any questions, queries, concerns, or comments, please direct us at podcast@overlooktheater.com. Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, the other one. Find us, like us, comment, tell a friend, tell an enemy. It's not any of my business what you do on your own personal time. The Overlook Hour is available on Facebook. It's the Overlook Hour. The Overlook Hour is available on YouTube. It's the Overlook Theater. The Overlook Hour is available on Instagram as the Overlook Theater. The Overlook Hour is available on Twitter as the Overlook Hour. Find us, like us, comment, tell a friend, tell an enemy. Randy.
Also playing in theaters all this week, apparently, is the Shrek 20th anniversary screenings. So go check that out.
20 years?
Yep, 20 years since Shrek 1, apparently.
I don't.
Also,
I've never seen Shrek, but I saw Shrek 2.
and Shrek makes an appearance in Fat Tuesday.
You're an
He
idiot.
does. He does. Go ahead, watch it. I dare you.
Enjoy, Jorge. Enjoy the show. Enjoy your life. Because if you don't enjoy your life, you're dead.
It has been a year since I last saw my mother. She said if I misbehave, she will take my hearing too. This week's Two Sentence Horror Story is brought to you by Cuddle Pull Fortnite. Was that from Reddit?
Yeah, it's from Reddit. I think it's important that you include that.
I know Cuddle. I know him very well. I'm very popular on Reddit.
No, you're not. I put that post up. Don't try and take the credit for our Reddit fans.
Yeah, you caught me because I'm not a Reddit guy. I'm more of a Blue It guy. Okay, I'm out. Hit the door.
Now, was that an oral joke?
No, just like he blew it.
Just colors.
Well, Clark can't see any other color than blue, so I see.
I see your blue colors, dude. I can see blue. I mean, well, sometimes blue and purple get mixed up.
No, all your clothes are navy because that's the one color you can confirm.
Dude, all the leaves are brown.
And the sky is gray.
Randy,
Randy?
I mean,
Your turn.
I don't know what it is.
Oh,
that's not necessarily true. I have a lot of black colors as well.
What?
I have a lot of black clothes, some navy. I've got one green shirt.
You got one green beret.
I've got that weird color Sturgill Simpson shirt. I don't even know what color that is. It's like a multi-textured thing.
Also, I that was a good 2-sentence horror story. Like Reddit usually has the weirdos come out and they misfire a lot, but that one was pretty legit.
It was good.
Yeah, I liked it. And I since you were gone, me and Oksana here we're coping. Also, do we want to mention that
You mean
You're
all
low-
6 hours? Not even?
No, I meant last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what was last week? You mean last week when I recorded on the other side of this hotel?
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
'cause
just
you're back, you fucking idiot.
I know. I'm back. I'm a floor higher.
Oh, promoted.
I'm also
What was that terrible
a
movie?
level higher.
What was that terrible movie where everybody lived in that like dystopian
High Rise.
skyrise? Oh,
High rise.
Directed by
God,
Ben
called-
Wheatley.
I fucking hated that movie. All right,
I
that's
didn't see that movie. Oh, okay. Was that the day? I feel like
Castro.
I feel like I was with y'all at the Castro and y'all saw 2 movies, and y'all went to go see a movie after, and I was only with you for the movie before. What was the movie before?
Oh, I don't know. Oksana, do you remember? Here, let me turn on your mic.
No.
Okay.
Was it the Joel Cohen thing?
I think it was an Indie Fest thing, or maybe.
Was it the Cohen brothers or?
No, it can because the Castro they always have really good pairings, and
Was
I
it
feel like
Noir? Was it Noir City?
oh, I have no idea. I don't think so. Who
Fuck.
cares? That movie was terrible.
High Rise.
No, it was annoying because I was with y'all for something, and then I think y'all said y'all were going
You
to
know
go
what?
see High Rise, and I didn't.
I feel like we saw something, got pizza, and then came back. So maybe High Rise was first.
Hold on, I take a ton of notes.
No, High Rise was second
Let me look it up.
because I think I was with y'all.
Are we talking one word or 2 word?
It's hyphenated.
High Rise
Oh,
is
ew.
hyphenated.
Because I mean, how other
Good
What?
try.
how else can you make this movie worse?
Yeah, I can't find it. I failed taking the notes.
Right. Anyway,
right. Anyway, the 2-sentence horror story coming from Reddit is a good segue for a thing I'm going to sneak in and talk about. While you were gone and we were depressed and so lonely here, I'm speaking for Oksana too. We
Of
decided it was time to start watching TV. And, I feel like we're really owning this 2-sentence horror story thing. We're employing, Creepy Clark
oh, did you really?
and we started watching the CW show, the 2-sentence horror story.
Oh God.
Now, I had to know, because it's a half hour. No, it's like 45
You
minutes.
didn't
long.
need to know. You already knew.
No, we had to know. We have to be the all-knowing when it comes
If you don't know, now you know,
Okay. And then now I do know.
Randy.
And, so the show actually came out of Reddit. On their trivia page on IMDb, which, only people who produce the show will update. They put episodes are based on ideas provided by users in Reddit. When one user asked another to write the best horror story they possibly could come up with in 2 sentences. So I guess 2-sentence horror stories came out of Reddit. That's super interesting, right? Now, the first episode, it opens up and it's going to be episodic, kind of like your Black Mirror or like Twilight Zone, right? Where does the 2-sentence horror story come in? Well, it opens up with a black screen.
Whoa, is there like a host?
No host.
Okay.
But there is it's almost like a found footage movie. When it opens up, it'll give you one of the 2 sentences. So episode 1, which was called Gentleman, opens up and it says, She was stiff and cold in my arms. And then it opens into the movie, or into the short film. I get what, they're 45 hours, 20 minutes? I can't remember.
45 hours?
45 minutes?
45 minutes.
Okay. And I'll tell you, the first episode was pretty interesting. It's a working girl starts dating, and she finds a nurse who is really good with kids.
When you say working girl,
No,
you mean a hua?
No, she is not. She's not laying any claim to the corner. She has an office job, and it's pretty nondescript. Actually,
sucks dick on the side.
Is she a fucking architect or something? I don't remember.
She prints 3D models of shit.
Oh yeah, an architect. She makes plastic houses for the new medium.
They're 20-minute episodes.
They're 20-minute. Okay,
not 45 hours as we previously established.
The thing. So we go through the episode, and she finds this guy, and they go on a date, and they're not hitting it off. Like Randy and all his Tinder dates.
Brother, I've been there.
They're flatlining. And some lady walks into the restaurant, and she's like, "Oh, hey." And he's like, "Oh, hey, who's that?" And she has a kid with him. And he's great with children, Clark. I think this would be a huge...
It's so weird.
It would be
think that I'm great with children. It's very strange.
I was going to say it'd be a turn on for you. I think you would have the same reaction this lady would. And you'd be like, man.
Okay, don't ever say that someone's love of children is a turn on.
I'm not talking Epstein. I'm talking like Mother Goose, dude. Okay. So she instantly turns around. She's like, you know what? We got to meet up again. Yada, yada, yada. He's crazy. Clearly, we all knew this was going to happen. And of course, because we know they're going to try and do a twist, it's like she's probably crazy too, because the camera work won't show you what the baby looks like. I'm going to go ahead and spoil this show for everybody. And the PG-13. Okay. So the baby turns out to be fake. Dun, dun, dun. Oh. Except that it's a life cast of her stillborn baby, and she put the baby inside of it. So the dude kills mothers, and he kills them for dating men. It's kind of confusing. He's like, "You're a bad mom," and the narrative of that first short is she's a good mom, and she doesn't want to bring him home, and he gets mad about it, and blah blah blah. Anyway, she kills him and turns him into a doll. Then when the episode is over, we go back to, she was stiff and cold in my arms. And then the second sentence is revealed. The doll blinked. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's like one of the worst ones we've ever had on this show. Jeez. It's fucking terrible. So I was trying to look up. Nobody's put together a list of the CW shows and their 2-sentence horror stories. So we might have to do that because I know it's a hot Google topic.
Why? Are you kidding me? That's going to be your claim?
No, dude, we're doing the work for the people.
No,
anyway,
we're not.
So when I was looking for it, I came across something unrelated to the show that would have been much better for that episode. Again, so for episode 1, the 2-sentence horror stories, it goes, she was stiff and cold in my arms. Then the doll blinked. Yet I found one online that is, it sat on my shelf with thoughtless porcelain eyes and the prettiest pink doll dress I could find. Why did she have to be stillborn? And I'm like, that is way creepier. It's got a better setup punchline, and it fit that episode perfectly.
It's pretty wordy, though.
It is pretty wordy. And episode 2, which I won't get super deep on, the opening sentence was, I felt my skin crawl. And the episode's about a girl who gets potentially roofied at a business... It was like an office party, and she wakes up and she feels violated, and she starts going kind of crazy. We're doing a little bit of Cronenberg stuff, and she's accusing everybody at work. Then there's a weird parasite narrative that comes up, and then yada, yada, yada. It was her boss. He's super evil, and then she gets him back by giving him a tapeworm that then comes out of his eyeball. I don't think they actually do that. Cut to the prompt, and it says, I felt my skin crawl. Then I saw the head of the worm push through. Yeah, they're fucking terrible. So stay tuned as I watch all of them and update.
How many seasons is this?
I think 2.
3.
Oh, there's 3.
There's 3?
Yeah.
For everything that is sacred and holy, don't watch all 3 seasons of this.
There's only 2 on Netflix, though.
Okay, and unlike Twilight Zone or Unsolved Mysteries or whatever episodic creepy thing, it actually comes off more like fact or fiction, where it's kind of gimmicky and the actual product's not that good. But I could maybe see people trying to guess the punchline of these terrible.
What's fact or fiction? Was that a show?
Oh, what? You never saw Fact or Fiction?
No, but I did watch Rescue 911.
Read the name of the writer of the third episode.
Where is that?
That second name.
Pornska Pichochot?
It's Pornsack.
Porns? Send it to Clark. We can't read anything over here.
Pornsack, also known as my bed.
Yeah, so it's Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. And it had one of the dudes from Star Trek as a host.
There was a Christian rock band called Petra, and they had a song called Beyond Belief.
What?
That's it. Beyond Belief, Beyond Belief.
Okay, yeah.
Petra is, if you can believe it, Petra is less cool than Striper.
Oh, dude, I found another band that I think is oh god,
what am I looking up? Fact or Fiction?
Yeah, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. I found another band that I think you would like though. They might be Christian. I think they're called like Witch Hazel. Is that the name of that band?
Yeah,
Witch Hazel. Yeah, they have a song where they talk about banishing Satan. It's pretty good.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I remember this show.
Lieutenant Riker or something. I can't remember who did it. And
so what network was this show on?
Probably like WB or something. Or actually, I don't know.
Was this ABC Family or something?
I don't look up Wikipedia. I'm sure you can find it.
Right.
But they would show 5 stories and be like, true or false, you decide. And then at the end, they would reveal everything.
And they were all true.
Twist, they're always true.
All right, let's kick this thing going. Randy, we just we decided to wrap up the Oscars before we started this record an hour and 15 minutes later than we had originally planned. That's okay.
But it was worth it.
Couple surprises with the Oscars that
Are we going to cover it?
Any of us really cared about. Anthony Hopkins and Frances McDormand, that was boring.
Yeah.
And then Nomadland won, and Chloe Zhao, which we kind of figured, which was cool.
Yeah,
that's about
agree.
it. Daniel Kaluuya, that was great, and that was all I remember.
Yeah,
Oscars.
I was hoping for Riz Ahmed, but had to give it to Hopkins instead.
I know, and not a single mention of Butt Boy.
Oh,
which is a travesty. Oh, but Russell, this week on John Waters was on Marin this week, and I barely I guest dependent with Marin now, but I listened to this one, and he was great. Waters was great, and he talked about Butt Boy with Marin.
Hell yeah.
He because he mentioned that he's watching all the screeners that come in, and Marin asked him, what was some of his favorite movies, and he said first one he mentioned was Butt Boy from last year. He talked about Butt Boy and Swallow.
Ooh, 2 things I'm sure he loves.
Orifices, baby.
John Waters is cool. You think he'll do a Christmas screening of Butt Boy out here?
Oh, that'd be great.
Well, he does Christmas Evil like every year, and like a talk.
Here's the thing: Butt Boy's really good.
Fuck yeah, Butt Boy is good.
Josiah's wrong. Josiah, we love. All right, Randy.
What the fuck are you drinking? You're like behind a bar over there.
You already know what he's drinking.
My mini fridge is right below the desk.
Oh,
this room's a little bit different setup. Now I have a more here. Let me see. Can you see my couch?
Wow, it's already dirty.
I have it. That's fair. And then I have I don't know if this is a king or a queen, but I can tell you it's a spring mattress, and not too stoked on that.
King of Queen.
Good show.
The bed is different. I'm gonna have back issues. By the way, Randy, I pulled my back muscle last Wednesday brushing my teeth, and that is not the first time that's happened.
Just
Your neck, your
just
back?
the one back muscle that's there.
Like on my right side.
Okay.
My I think it's my latissimus dorsi.
Never heard of it.
I'm pretty sure that is an actual muscle. I don't know where it is though. Hold on. Latissimus.
All right.
Oh, dude, that's our the latissimus dorsi is the largest muscle in the upper body. It's responsible for extension, abduction, transverse extension, known as horizontal abduction. Isn't that what happened to Liam Neeson's daughter?
Okay.
Where is it? Where is the latissimus dorsi? Oh, dude, I was right. Get the bro. Hell, dude, I should have been a doctor, dude. I fucking crush that. Randy, talk about whatever movie you want to, but I fucking win this episode, dude.
Congrats on winning the episode, dude.
Thank you.
So we talked about a not so great Ben Wheatley film earlier. I saw
High Rise?
Yeah, I saw a pretty good one. It's a new film out in theaters right now. It's called In the Earth. It was shot during the pandemic in like 15 days over the course of August.
Now, Randy, what else has Ben Wheatley given us other than High Rise?
A Field in England, which I really like.
Oh, that was him?
Yes.
Yeah, duh.
Kill List, Sightseers.
Oh,
So
I never saw Field in England. Did y'all see Field in
Field
England?
in England's
All
good.
that.
You liked it?
Yeah. This one is very
But-
similar to A Field in England.
Oh.
It's got a lot of psychedelic visuals and a really interesting kind of disorienting score by Clint Mansell. Yeah, it's good. It's kind of like a folk horror-y thing. There's a little bit of like pandemic stuff in it, but it doesn't like rely too heavily on that, and it doesn't feel, I don't know, like too dated, like the Doug Liman movie felt. Locked Up, whatever that was called.
Oh, so in this universe, we are occupying a Corona world?
It's not. I don't think they mentioned the name of it, so I don't think it's coronavirus. But you know, there's people with masks on and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It felt like kind of just like world building, and it didn't like focus too heavily on that. But yeah, it gets weird. It gets psychedelic. Essentially, these two people, they're like scientists. They go out into a forest for a routine equipment run, and then they run into. So they're camping one night, and while they're camping, in their separate tents, they get attacked by someone or something, and it kind of leaves them passed out, disoriented until the morning, and they're shoeless and they're like in pretty bad shape. But
Where are their shoes?
they keep going on. I don't know. Whoever attacked them stole their shoes apparently. And
Was
then
in jail?
Were they in season 3 of The Wire?
so they run into this odd figure who's out there just hanging out in the
Slender
forest.
Man?
Bottle man.
And you know, while I'm watching it, I'm like, obviously this is the guy that fucked them up in the middle of the night and stole their shoes. But for some reason they trust this guy.
He's got some fresh New Balances on.
Yeah. Some reason they trust this guy, and he takes them in because they're badly beat, and he's like, oh yeah, let me stitch that up and give you guys some food and stuff. But turns out not to be a good situation. And then yeah, things get weirder from there. And yeah, it's really good. I would say if you're comfortable seeing it in a theater, go see it in a theater. It gets really loud. It gets kind of stroby. It gets weird, kind of psychedelic. It's good.
If you're
So
the kind of person that really is dying to watch In the Earth in the theater, but you're worried about the virus, just know that half the country has been vaccinated at this point, and you're probably not mentally well. You should go watch this movie.
It's 36% of the country. Thank you very much.
It's half the adult population.
Incorrect.
And if we want to get statistically into the people who are at risk at it, we could do that, but we won't. And we should mention that the tomato meter is giving this, 76, but the audience score is 25?
Oh,
What the
Yeah.
fuck's going on there?
Barry Bonds.
I don't know. Critics dig it though, apparently.
Yeah, weird. I mean, I'm down. I've only heard good things from people that we talk to, so obviously they're the tastemakers that I like.
Now, let me ask you this. How many people got their shoes stolen?
2.
All right, so if you're one person, why do you need 2 separate? Why do you need to steal both of their shoes?
I think he was just trying to incapacitate them.
That's just mean.
Nah, it's the new barter system, dude.
I don't like it.
But yeah, that's it's in the earth. Give it a shot.
All right, how many letterbox?
I gave it 4 letterbox out of 5 letterbox.
Oh,
Wow.
Randy's throwing down some change, bro.
Yeah, I've only heard like a couple of people reached out to me, and the few times I've been on Instagram this week, everybody they loved it. And so
Randy, how's the
dying to go
sound
out there.
design?
Pretty good. Sound design and score is it gets very loud and weird at times, which
Okay.
I appreciated. There's some some good gore and stuff in it too. Gets kind of gory.
The theater that's where I am, and I'm in a fucking terrible place, part of Phoenix, apparently.
Yeah.
Like the only theater that's near me, I think, is either in or adjacent to a dead mall. I may go there, but I doubt it's playing there. Jacob's Wife is playing. I want to go see that, but it's on the other side of town.
What about Jacob's Ladder?
It's not playing.
Boycott.
All right, Randy, what else you got?
Russell wants me to talk about a movie that I already talked about before, but I rewatched Under the Silver Lake, and it's still good. It holds up.
Randy, I watched it like 2 months ago, and it's
Why?
not good, and it still hasn't held up.
Why did you rewatch it?
I don't know. I think I was listening to something else, and they were talking about it. And I was like, okay, Randy loves this movie. I'll give it a second chance. And
Well,
I just don't care.
Randy brought it up because I got him onto Your Own Backyard, that podcast about Kristen Smart, which there should be another episode coming out, and I want to revisit. I want to talk more about that podcast later when it does. But I told Randy if he watched it, I would watch it too, and I watched it, and I'm fucking confused. Now, is it just a parody of Vertigo? Is it like, are we just being cynical towards Hollywood while also like indulging in it completely?
Maybe a little bit. I definitely noticed more Vertigo in it this time watching it. I don't think I picked up as much on it the first time, but I don't know. There's a whole lot of like movie references and stuff going on in the movie, and like even that girl that he meets looks a lot like Mia Farrow and like Rosemary's Baby. There's like, I don't know. There's a lot of like just movie references in it, and it feels like a very like millennial like LA film, and I like the way that they captured LA. I don't know. I just like movies that have like I don't care about, I mean, I guess there is kind of a lot of plot, but a lot of it doesn't really like 100% add up, but I don't know.
Which is a
like
noir.
Inherent, yeah, it's kind of just like noir-y. It's kind of like this and like Inherent Vice, I feel, are kind of similar movies. I know a lot of people don't love Inherent Vice, and I really like that movie a lot, but
I'm Inherent Vice over this all day, every day, yes.
I like that a lot more too, but
I like Noiri the Curse.
I don't hate that.
No,
I still win the episode.
The thing is, I didn't like the weird humor, like the humor of like, oh, I'm in a chase and we're doing the Vertigo thing where it's a lot of non-talking and we're really leaning into the conspiracy shit, and then we jump onto like the swan ride at the lake. I'm like, I'm down for that. The fucking skunk shitting out its spray on him, and I was like, what are we doing? Like tonally, it was kind of jarring. Yeah. But also like it's got a really weird take on like women in Hollywood, where it's like hyper sexualized, that whole movie.
He bones everybody.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
he does get to bone that old lady, and that was hot.
Oh, he does?
That old lady was hot, dude. Yeah.
I don't remember
boned
that.
her at the end.
Yeah, it's like the very end.
You know what? I didn't make it all the way. And Oksana's looking through photos right now, and it looks like Holy Mountain right there.
Holy Mountain.
Yeah, no, that's why I was late. I was watching that movie. I thought it was 2 hours long, and then Oksana's like, no, this is like 2:40.
It's pretty long. This is like, you know how you always say that you have more to say about a bad movie, or like a movie that you don't like. I feel like this film is messy, and like weird. Maybe not everything adds up, but for some reason that's very interesting to me and works in this scenario. When a lot of times when it comes to bad movies, I just like don't care.
No, for sure.
There's a lot to look at. It's a visual treat for sure.
Yeah.
The thing is, this movie, I can understand why it would alienate so many people, but at the same time, I bet there's like a group of people out here who love this movie, and it would be like an actual cult film and play like midnight showings if any theater ever did that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, Randy. The thing that I was confused about is there's a lot of animation up top, and I thought that would have lost you right away.
No, yeah, it didn't really bug me.
What's my boy's name with the intense eyebrows?
The guy who writes the zine?
Yeah.
Who's in like Mulholland Drive and all that?
Yeah, that guy's great.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, the 90s thing was like catching me off guard at first. There was like, I don't know what it is, but when Kurt Cobain shows up in a movie, like even if he's just on a poster, actually it's Kurt Cobain posters. What was that horror movie from 2019 that everybody hated? It was that
Winchester.
Where the babysitter is like,
yeah, the babysitter's there and the kid's a drummer and he has a Kurt Cobain poster. Did you watch that, Clark? It was directed by a female who mostly did MTV music videos prior.
Are you talking about The Turning?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah.
Never saw it.
Nor did
And
I.
also, it was super cool that I was able to pull that.
I know.
Also, I win the episode again.
Yeah, I don't know. It has a very prominent Kurt Cobain poster too. We should do a double feature of those films. Actually,
Right.
people hated that one too.
Let me see. What's my guy's name?
I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for you to find the
Oh my
name.
God. Why is he buried down here? He needs to be Patrick Fischler.
Yeah.
That's where you put the dead.
Listed as
Buried him.
Comic Man. Dude, this guy's awesome. Also, he's in every movie and TV show that's ever been made. He's great. Oh, dude, he was in Dice's TV show. Oksana, please, I'm going to send you his IMDb. Please, let's book him tomorrow.
He doesn't want to be on this shitty podcast.
Well, he worked with Andrew Dice Clay, and I must know these things.
You want to get 1 degree away?
That's right.
1 degree away from Andrew Dice Clay? That's going to be your...
You just 1 degree from Clay. 1 degree away from Clay.
No, mine was better.
No, it wasn't. It was way too long.
No, it had a rhythm.
The rhythm of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah, dummy. Put down that DPEW and start doing your reviews.
This is podcast noises. It's good.
I wasn't complaining the audio landscape you were giving us. I was complaining about the garbage you're putting in your body.
How does this microphone sound? We sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It
we could have
sounds
faked it that you were in the room.
So last week I was in Phoenix, Arizona. This week I am in Phoenix, Arizona. Last week in Phoenix, Arizona, I watched 2.75 movies, I believe. One of which was called The Last Laugh, which is a slasher about a stand-up comedian performing a show at the Pantages Theater in Los Angeles, California. And they filmed all of it at the Pantages, and that was pretty cool. The second movie I saw was called One Bedroom. It's on Netflix. A lot of people have seen it. I had not until now. One Bedroom. And then I also saw because I've seen this movie several times. I enjoy this movie a lot. I enjoy the wonderful duo of Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. And in one of the first movies they were in together was called The Odd Couple. So I watched most of The Odd Couple one night before I went to bed. Last Laugh, 2020. When I'm staying here at the Sheraton Crescent Phoenix Hotel, as a part of my stay here, they are extending a free membership to Showtime, which I can use as a trial membership when I go back home. As I said, I was here last week and this week. I don't know if I will ever leave this hotel because life is unfair. But as a part of the Showtime thing, I was just thumbing through there and I saw this movie called The Last Laugh. I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. Russell, what do you think the tagline is for a horror, not comedy, but a horror film about a stand-up comedian called The Last Laugh. What do you think the tagline would be?
Stand up or die.
Randy, what do you
It's not
think?
bad. He will get the last laugh.
It's terrible.
It was good.
You know what? Honestly, I think the best tagline would be "He killed."
Oh yeah.
That'd be the only one I would go with. But instead, they went with "Knock 'em dead."
Weird.
Also, another one would be "He'll break your legs." God damn it, they could have had so much more fun with this movie. Oh, this movie, man. I gave it the full shot. It just no. It just doesn't work. It's not only is there
Are you live?
it's a telegraphed of no resolution.
What?
Does that make sense?
Is that a review? It's a telegraphed of no revolution?
Yeah, I was like, we're not going to get an answer here because there is no answer. And it was telegraphed that way. I was like, it's one way, and it's just... Now, I will say, I really liked how they filmed the whole thing at the Pantages. The Pantages is a historical theater in Los Angeles, and for them to have access to that is great. And a lot of it is back in the green room and whatnot, but essentially... The thing that really drags this movie down is the stand-up aspect of it. What is happening?
Oksana.
Is Chevy Chase in this movie? Because there's so many
No.
movies called
Oh, God damn it. You are, and I mean this with
Wait,
all the
wait.
love in my heart,
But is Richard
the worst research assistant in the history of broadcast journalism.
Dude, wait. Chevy Chase and Richard Dreyfuss aren't in this movie?
No, they are not.
She found, I think, the right poster where it's got that kind of Drive wannabe purple and blue like Nicholas Refn look. So she found that, but she couldn't find the IMDb listing. There she goes. She got it.
So essentially, what happens is there's a comedian named Miles. Miles is performing at a open mic sort of atmosphere at this bar. He does not do well. The bartender who owns the club says they won't pay him, and then his agent shows up and he's basically like, hey, you got a big show tomorrow, opening it up for blah blah blah. And blah 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 is a hack who has basically sold out for big movies and is doing like some sort of like, look at me tour. I'm back. I'm still relevant tour sort of thing. Basically just going back to, because he's a name still. And so Miles is jumping on that bill, and he's nervous about his big show and his big opportunity as there's an agent there, and the agent's a part of scouting for a big comedy thing. And there's a killer on the loose and starts picking off everyone and kills Miles' agents and then kills Miles right before he gets on stage. And then cuts to a news report saying that this comedian died right before he was supposed to go on stage. And now his old YouTube videos have gotten over 2 million views. And that he was supposed to be this comic genius. But we have no evidence of that. The material he said on was horrible and hacky and would have been booed off any cruise ship in the South Atlantic. So I don't know what's going on. It's really hard to portray stand-up in movies. I do get that because it's a writing issue. Because most comedians who, if they bring in a comedian to write for a stand-up, then they don't really want to use the A stuff because they want to keep the A stuff and use that on the road. So if you throw it in the movie, then it's burned. So it's sort of a tricky thing when you do stand-up. And I think that's why I like movies towards the sort of the lower end of stand-up, like Middleman.
Yeah.
Like I love Middleman. Love Middleman. And I think Middleman does a great job of portraying stand-up because it's a particular sect of stand-up. So it sort of sticks in its lane, at least creatively, to where we're not at a big sort of stakes situation, and we've got C- material that's being pawned off as A+ material. That always irks me, and we're sort of in that territory here. The main issue here is the protagonist is not likable. You don't feel for him at all. The kills are boring. There's not a whole lot of fun, and it's pretty disappointing.
Well, the mask looked cool.
The mask looked okay. It's
but I mean,
pretty boring.
For a lot of slashers out now, okay is good enough. Also, if you're a Amazon Prime adventurer, you might know his films. I looked up the director, Jeremy Berg. It looked like he did The Invoking, The Device, Holiday Hell. Those are all films that I've seen floating around streaming that look like that low tier studio. That's like, you kind of know what you're going to get, and it won't be anything great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's probably making money off these movies, so good for him.
Also, second movie I saw was a Netflix movie called One Bedroom. And this came out in 2000. It says 2019, but I think it came out last year.
Are we talking 1BR?
1BR by David Marmer. Sarah tries to start anew in LA, but her neighbors are not what they seem. Okay, here's the deal. If we get too far into One Bedroom, we go straight into spoiler territory.
Get right into the bathroom.
So there's a big twist with this movie, and it comes in pretty soon.
There's another bedroom.
Right. It's a studio. No. Ray Romano. Oh no.
Oh, I thought it was Kermit. You idiot. Was that the material from the last laugh right there?
Man. All right. Yeah, right. Dude, that movie wishes.
They wish they could do a D- Ray Romano.
So this movie is sort of perplexing because
there's clearly another bedroom.
If you, how many times are we going to go back to that well?
Hey, it works. Welcome to the Last Laugh Part 2.
So Randy, there are 87 tomatoes for one bedroom, but there's only 57 popcorns for it.
Oh shit!
The audience scores at 57. Man, I think I gave it. This movie's not great because the twist is.
Should I go?
This is a lesser version of the Karen Kurosawa. What's that film? The Invitation.
Okay, there you go.
How do you say her name? I was going to say Kurosawa, but that's not right.
I know. Are you about to spoil both movies right now?
Dude, you can't talk about One Bedroom without spoiling it. So I will stay away from that. I would just say that the twist is insane, and you can't. It just stinks. Man,
it's one bedroom.
I really.
How many baths?
Huh?
How many?
Do you want me to spoil it?
No, I want you to finish your listing of this house. 1 bedroom, 2 bath.
Dude, here's the thing. Okay, so this whole apartment complex, and again, I don't want to go into the specifics about it, but the apartment complex is shitty. It looks like it looks like
oh my god.
It looks like an apartment you would get while you're in college.
What does that mean?
But the welcome party of everyone there is like, "Hi, I'm a doctor, and this is my lawyer wife."
Oh.
And I was like, "Why do you live in this fucking horrible apartment? Like, what is happening?" And then there's this doddering old woman who used to be a movie star, and she's slowly dying. Oh, and the way they kill her off, Mamma Mia!
Here we go again.
it's not strong.
Randy, I saw you laughing. Next time I drop an ABBA reference, I'm gonna need you to make that an audible laugh.
I think that's the only one I know.
Hell yeah!
But there are some pretty good kills. I will say that.
Where do they happen?
I did enjoy a couple of the kills, and there was the escape scene was pretty fun.
Okay, is that a spoiler?
The last 15 to 10 minutes is kind of fun.
The one bedroom is an escape room. That's the twist.
Do you want me to, dude, I will
don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
Why?
Because I'm going to watch it. You sold
No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't watch the movies I tell you to watch.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
If you watch them with me,
You
I'll
don't watch
anything.
Bloody Nose, Empty Pockets. I've been telling you to watch that for a year.
And then I put it on and you're like, I'm going to go to bed.
That's not true.
You're like, I got 10 minutes. And I went, I'm not going to do that then.
Incorrect.
Oh, you've never done that before.
All right. Well, not for Bloody Nose. Though. All right. You want me to spoil it? Here we go.
No, don't. Come on,
it's the invitation, dude.
You said that already. So once we're done talking here, I'm gonna email it. I'm gonna send you all the link for Hotel Room, the David Lynch HBO show that is a hour-and-a-half long pilot.
Hotel Room Rwanda?
Yeah, Hotel Room Rwanda. And I'm just putting that out there for anybody listening. You could, review it along with us next week. I'm in a weird mood.
All right. You're going to talk about Mortal Kombat now?
Oh, can I play the theme song?
Please.
All right, let's do it. I had it queued up. I already regret it. Okay, Mortal Kombat. I hated it.
What about
I'm
the
joking.
new one? That's not the new theme song.
No, there is no new.
There
All right,
is.
Randy. I know you watched it too.
They didn't make a new theme song?
I'll tell you, Randy. Actually, can you do Mortal Kombat, and I'll jump in after.
I don't know. They made a new Mortal Kombat movie based off of the video game Mortal Kombat. There was a early one in like the 90s or something, a movie version that came out. And
You saw it.
I did, but I probably haven't seen it since it came out.
I never saw it.
I don't remember
What?
the original at all.
Why would I need to see it?
It's good.
No, it's not.
It defined a generation of film.
No, it didn't. Ninja
Yeah, it did.
Turtles
That movie that I reviewed that I loved, Beowulf with Christopher Lambert, that Steven recommended to us on the show.
Christopher Lambert.
They had a they had a house soundtrack because of this movie. And
Oh, that's true.
so Mortal Kombat, I went there. Oksana and I met up with Terrell and Chuggy, who survived the mall shooting, to go
Oh my
back to the
God.
mall where he dodged
cut
those
that out.
bullets like in the Matrix. And Chuggy is a huge Mortal Kombat fan. And if you know,
Don't talk about his weight.
if you
That's messed up.
if you know that little boy like we do, he likes to talk during the movie. And I'll tell you right now, I came in there ready to fucking talk during a movie. Unfortunately, people are going back to the movies. We actually didn't go see it XD because all of the fucking times were like sold out except for the like very front row of the theater.
Oh, selling out?
Dude, well, I mean,
dude, they are at like
blocking off.
35 capacity.
Yeah, they're blocking off the rows, but I mean, we've been going to movies every time theaters would allow us. And I mean, the most we've had in a room, maybe like 10 people, maybe.
The
For Freaky. I think Freaky had like 10.
Unholy had a good number, I think.
What was Unholy?
The one
I
on Good
talked about it.
Friday.
That one had a pretty good number, but
Oh, the movie you movie cucked me on, dude?
it's your bit. I'm just keeping it alive. Now,
Fucked up, dude.
Mortal Kombat was pretty busy, and I went in there and I was ready to have fun. I wanted to talk to Chuggy. I'm a fan of the video game. I, was Sega over Super Nintendo because I wanted the blood, and I kind of fell off after Mortal Kombat 3. I came back when they added Spawn on Xbox, and I haven't followed the story at all. So I'm like, hey, Chuggy, dude, I empower you to tell me what's going on, and I want to know when they're fucking it up. And basically my thought process was Marvel's figured it out. They know how to turn IPs into an entertaining film. People seem to really like Kong vs. Godzilla. And I think this will just be fun and, a pretty good, technically sound movie. And I was a little afraid of the winky nod,
Winky whoops.
Hey, we're playing the game. I was a little worried about that. I was completely wrong. I got it all backwards. The best parts of the movie were all of the video game nods. They did straight up fights in like a 2D kind of shot style to like mimic the game. They recreated levels like the pit from the first Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Jax did not do an uppercut to send his opponent down to the bottom, which I really wanted. But dude, they had fatalities in the film. They
Mhm.
turned boring characters into good ones. The gore was great. Everything that wasn't Mortal Kombat specific was fucking terrible.
Now, did they treat my boy with respect?
Who's your boy?
Master Raiden.
He was boring.
It's a shame.
So Raiden's a weird character because
Raiden's the best character.
well, Raiden's like a god, and he's got the issue of like, I am a god among men, which means I can fight you and you could possibly win. Yet narratively, he can create a lightning dome that can block out Outworlders. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
How's his hat though? Is it still cool?
He was lame. You know, honestly, the visuals, like the casting, the dude who played Kano felt like he was written by James Gunn. Like he was pretty punchy and he was comic relief. And honestly, I thought he was written pretty well. I didn't like the look of the dude. Like in the original,
there is some levity.
yeah, no, it's doing that like IP blockbuster thing where, and it was pretty, dude. I'll tell you, you want to go winky whoops. Jax follows Sub-Zero into an abandoned building where they're clearly going to fight because this place is begging for blood to be splattered. And when they frame up in the 2D style, which, you know, they only like hint at the 2D thing. The choreograph, it's all really well choreographed. And in the background, when they square up, there's graffiti that is like a combo in the game. So it says like quarter circle with the arrows.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, dude, it's not distracting, but it's there, and it's not it's very, you know, self-aware.
That's cool.
And I'm like, dude, I want only that. When we go to Sonya Blade's house, there's a picture of Nightwolf in her research wall, and it's like he's such a dork character. They fucked up Melina, which is fine. I mean, again, I'm not super in love with the thing, but every time we were doing some goofy Mortal Kombat shit, it was a lot of fun. Damn. Now, they created a new character, I'm guessing, for the game for this film. He fucking sucked. I hate him. And it's
Ken
like,
from Street Fighter.
Dude, every movie ever where there's an IP and then they create a new addition to it, has that ever worked out? Has it ever worked out in a fucking film?
Well, New Edition worked out for Marky Mark.
Oh, there we go. Also, shout out to Fear. I love that movie.
Also, R.I.P. to Marky Mark's mother. She passed on.
Oh, are they going to close the burger joint?
I don't know. Hey, those sweet potato tater tots are.
You got to watch Wall Street. The business isn't doing too well.
Oh, is it not?
No.
That's a shame. I actually do like Wahlburgers.
Nah, cancel Wahlburgers.
I'm good with Wahlburgers.
Now, that character they created. Oh, dude, and I'll tell you this. So some of the other shit that they create for their story,
they expanded too quick, dude.
Dude, they did this thing. They got rid of the invitation. So, Clark, you haven't seen the original Mortal Kombat. Yeah. It's basically a ripoff of Enter the Dragon. So it's kind of like there's a tournament in a hidden location on an island, and you get invited if you're a badass. So, but the thing is, in Mortal Kombat, you show up, and there's fucking like monsters there. Like we get a little fantasy, and it's really fucking cool.
Like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah. Well, Goro is an animatronic with 4 arms.
Yeah.
So
does he look cool?
In this movie, no. He looks like the Hulk. He's very CG, and he's kind of a throwaway. They do call him King Goro, which is tight because, you know, get that respect. But so they got rid of the invitation. What they do now is you have the mark. It's like, oh, I have the mark of the dragon, which is just the logo from the game. And the way that you can get the mark is by killing somebody with it. So when Kano shows up, they don't know who he is because Sonya and Jax were tracking a dude with the mark, and Kano happened to kill him right when they got there. Of course, this is all exposition that happens while Kano is chained to a seat. Reptile shows up. He's a CG reptile, kind of like a raptor from Jurassic Park. And they do this new thing where if you're a human champion, you need to find your, what do they call Arcana? You have to discover your Arcana. So Kano, he's just a criminal. And when they're training him, like Liu Kang is teasing him at dinner. And he gets so mad that he shoots a laser out of his eye. And they're like, oh, you've discovered your Arcana. And it is the cringiest, fucking stupidest. And I'll tell you, the character they create, he's descended from Scorpion. And Scorpion was a family man who was attacked by Sub-Zero. You should know this, Clark.
Yeah.
And the new character is also a family man. He's also a failed MMA fighter. And I know. Are your eyes rolling yet?
Yeah, I pulled a cornea.
Dude. So from the minute he's introduced, you're like, oh, okay. The arcane is going to be discovered from his family because he loves his family. It takes fucking over like 2 hours to get there. When he does, his special power is he gets the Black Panther suit that's gold. Thank you for Chuggy pointing that out. And then he gets 2 tonfas, which they're boring weapons, and that's it. And man, all that shit fucking sucked. But there's a montage in the 3rd act where they decide we need to just fight them one-on-one because they'll beat us in a brawl. And it just turns into like 5 video game one-on-one matches. It's fucking good. And I think that's where Randy fell asleep.
I missed the last like 15 or 20 minutes of the movie. But I did like the fights. I didn't like the CG, more fantasy shit, to no one's surprise. The fatalities were cool. Or I thought they were like pretty gory, and was like pretty surprised by that when like the first few of them happened. But I enjoyed it.
It's weird that we don't have more action movies with like hyper gore like that.
Yeah.
Like we open up and it's very like Kurosawa when we're dealing. So Sub-Zero's Chinese and Scorpion's Japanese, and we open up and like Scorpion's like home, and he gets ambushed by ninjas, and it's like, dude, this is fucking cool, except that the choreography's a little extra violent. And it's like, oh, this movie's gonna be rad because they're doing shit you don't see in other movies. And then it's weird because it turns into, can we just watch people get beat up again?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much talking, and there's a moment where Raiden's like, he can't discover his arcana. We need to send him home. And then he opens up a thunder portal, and Cole, who's the new character, fucking hate him. He's like,
Cole?
Yeah, Cole Lee or something. Dude. He's like walking towards the portal, and Sonya Blade's like, are you really leaving? And he's like, sorry. And he goes through the I'm like, fucking shut up. Also, he's a bad actor. Like, if you've been listening to this show, like all you maniacs have for so long, I never critique acting because I'm dumb. And I always think that the director gets the performance they want. And if, you're not that good or believable, maybe that's something you're doing with the film. That guy's fucking bad. He's terrible. All right. Mortal Kombat was okay, though.
Do you just mean like not enthusiastic?
No, like bad. Like he doesn't have acting chops. They must have got him for like his physical stunt work, but honestly, I don't know, it didn't stand out to me.
How's his butt?
I don't know. How is his butt? He didn't make an impression.
I hate my butt, dude.
We got it on film, actually.
I know, it's horrible. I have such a flat butt. How can I make my butt bigger?
You got to sculpt your body, baby.
Do some squats.
I don't want to do squats.
You could do you could
remember I have an injured latissimus dorsi.
Does that mean you're a dolphin?
Should ask Al Pacino about your butt.
Okay.
What?
You got a great ass.
Jack and Jill reference?
Oh, wait, Randy, do that again. We killed your punchline.
She's got a great ass.
All right. What can we make a timestamp?
Save that and loop it and play it at my funeral.
Oh, okay, next week. Oh, Oksana's crying over here because of that.
Oh my god.
All right,
isolate that.
Mortal Kombat was it wasn't as fun as I wanted. Yeah, so don't watch it, Clark. I think you'll turn it off if you watch it alone.
How long is it?
It's not that long. I think it's like an hour 40.
Can I just skip around the fighting?
Long, isn't it?
I think it's an hour 40. Yeah, if you jumped around to just the fights, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I should mention that Jax. So Jax is, the ripped dude with
Jax sucks.
With metal arm. No, Jax is tight.
It was cool when he lost his arms.
Yeah, so his arms get destroyed in a cool way. I won't spoil that. I mean, even though you can fucking tell it's coming. The way that he gets his arms back, like from the minute they're gone, you're like, how are they going to do that? Because no matter what, when he gets ripped metal arms, it's going to be fucking dumb. So what they do is they scan all the portals for the best solution. And they have these dudes come in who look like they're fucking gonna do acupuncture on him. And he's just sitting there with like nubs at his shoulders. So we come back later. And for anybody who's seen the animated Ralph Bakshi film, Wizards, one of my favorite all-time villains, Dark Wolf, he's got skeletal arms because he's a mutant. And it's only from like the elbow down. That's what fucking Jax looked like. It looked comical, except they weren't skeleton arms. They were steampunk robot arms. So they had like gears and they looked so fucking dumb. They also break. And then, he does the suburban mom's forerunner flipped over, but she's got to save her infant child. So she gets super strength from God and lifts the car. And that's his arcana. And then he gets ripped metal arms. It's fucking stupid.
Forerunners are cool, though.
You know what I'm talking about. I think they had a whole episode like that in Smallville. Or
I know.
Is that how they figured it out? The Forerunner was probably made out of kryptonite, though.
I had a Forerunner, and the second day I had it almost flipped it.
Really?
Yeah, it was scary. I was doing donuts in a pasture.
Donuts in the pasture?
Yeah, it was. I did a sharp turn, and we were on two wheels. Do you remember
in the car?
Me and my cousin. Do you remember? Do you remember the motion picture Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, Devilman.
When they got into the car and they did that, that's what happened. It was very scary.
How long were y'all dating?
What?
I was making a West Coast elitist joke about flyover states and how y'all date your cousins.
Oh, me and my male cousin. Yes.
I don't judge.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, thank you.
All right, you got anything else?
I mean, I could.
Oh God.
Oksana wanted me to talk about this Russian Blair Witch film called The Widow.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I was expecting Clark to shut me down. The Widow. Right. It's the Blair Witch, but Russian and not found footage completely. It's actually pretty good. I don't want to get into it because I don't have a lot to say. And I feel kind of trapped by Clark.
What did you letterbox it?
I did, dude. I'm behind on Letterboxd. I think I'll give it a 3 and 3.5, 3,
3.5.
What would you give it, Oksana?
Probably 3.5.
I think I'm a 3.
Brandy, what did you Mortal Kombat?
2.5.
Oh, that hurt me. Kill him.
You ripped the bong too hard, dude. That's why you passed out.
Never ripped a bong in my entire life.
Oh, really? Me either. High five.
I just bang on the bong all day. What?
Bongos.
Why are you so tired?
Man, let me explain something to you. I give and I give and I give. I can't help it. I cannot go into the specifics of why I'm back in Phoenix, Arizona again. All I can say is that if you have seen the 1994 motion picture Pulp Fiction, then you will know that I am Harvey Keitel and I am the wolf and I fix things. And they've brought me back in my services again to come down here and fix things. And I'm just tired because I just give and they just take. And I am withering into nothing. And my arms will be ripped from my body and I will have no steampunk metal replacement arms.
Watch the movie. You have to watch it now.
All right.
Is that it? We got more? Hey, honestly, next week we should watch that. We should watch that weird David Lynch HBO thing. I figured y'all would be into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All
right. So stay tuned for our interview that we had with Jorge Torres-Torres from the motion picture Fat Tuesday. Jorge's great, man. He's a cool cat, and we had a great talk with him about a film that Russell says is in his top 10 of all time, which,
probably,
if I'm honest, seems a little high.
Nah.
It's pretty high, Russ.
It's really good. I watched it again.
It is very good. I like it a lot.
I liked it more round 2. And I also think, as a fan of the slasher genre, I think he gave some new life to it. I really think it's an important film and people should watch it.
It is pretty good.
Also,
Randy, watch it.
Here, let me mention my regrets right now. We never actually questioned him on his name, Torres. It's fucking great. I just wanted to shoot that at him. Also, he made a film that's a slasher kind of. It's giallo or slasher, either one. Set in Mardi Gras, and there is not a single nipple from a female in it.
Good.
Hey, do you know what Bill Cosby's favorite subgenre was? Giallo.
Oh, I hated that, but I loved it. Say it again.
Giallo.
All right, I'm gonna isolate that. You idiot with your Diet Pepsi. It's so foul.
Yeah, Arizona sucks, dude. They don't have CZ down here.
Yeah, Fat Tuesday is on Amazon Prime. Watch it, but don't, you know what? Don't turn off the podcast and be like, oh, okay, you gave me an out. Listen to the fucking interview, because if you're kind of like Luke, because I do that. Do y'all do that? You ever listen to those shows and they're like, all right, if you haven't watched the movie, go ahead, turn this off and come back. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And I never watch the movie.
Live your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't care. Listen to the show. Don't listen to the show. Watch the movie. Don't watch the movie. Don't beat your kids and love your wife. I don't care what you do, man.
All right, end it.
Oh, God. My skin is all itchy. The air in Arizona is dry.
It's dry heat.
I felt my skin crawl. Then I saw the head of the worm push through.
All right. So,
episode 2.
Stay tuned for Jorge. We love you. God bless. Randy, take her home.
I'm brain dead. It's 9:24. Recording much later than I thought we would. But
all right, I'll do it. 2-sentence Jorge story.
Nice.
I sign off on Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep, we're good.
I don't get it. What's the reference?
Hit record. That's his production company.
Oh, I knew that.
So we said we're just gonna JGL it because we're lame.
I would have got that. I like acronyms.
All right.
Are you gonna keep talking about the outsider music?
So essentially,
wait, reset it up for Jorge.
Jorge, are you familiar with? Are you a fan of outsider art, outsider music, that sort of thing? That's sort of on your radar.
No, I think I'm on another. Yeah, I'm somewhere.
Like an example of that would be like Wesley Willis or Daniel Johnston.
Oh yes.
Okay. So I recently discovered another outsider art band called The Shags. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I've heard. Okay. I don't think I've heard the music, but yeah, sure, yes.
Yeah, I was just telling Russell this as I just saw this a few days ago. But essentially, their grandmother had a palm reading, and as a part of that palm reading, there were 3 sort of premonitions, 2 of which came to pass, and the third was that her son would give birth to children, and those children would be famous musicians.
Oh,
so their dad was sort of a disciplinarian, and he taught this. He made his daughters take music lessons, and they were not musicians by any. They were teenagers when they made their first album in 1968, and it was called The Shags' Philosophy of the World. Also, Russell, you're gonna love this album cover.
Right.
And essentially, like, the drums are just there. The music is
uninspired.
Yes, but it's great because they wrote the lyrics, and so it's teenagers writing the lyrics, and it's all about the fat people want what the skinny people got, the skinny people want what the fat people got, and man, it's great. But yeah, stuff like that is just crazy. So because
it's like teenagers rebelling against their parents in a band form.
They're not even rebelling. They're like, we're forced to be here.
Also, how dare you mention outsider music and not mention Gothic King Cobra? Fuck you, dude.
I mean, okay, you got a point.
Jorge, do you know Gothic King Cobra?
Jorge, please say no.
No, I can say no.
Okay, actually, you know what? You might dig the documentary that was made and kind of like put him on the level.
Yeah, shoot him that link.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I believe the documentary is called Gothic King Cobra, but it's like a YouTube documentary, and it's a like it's cinema verite, and it just follows a self-diagnosed autistic goth kid from Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming, and he's kind of launched his YouTube career off of it. He's got like 22,000 followers that I'm pretty sure half of them are just banned accounts at this point, but I think you might dig it.
When you're speaking of sort of outsider art music, and I made a few documentary features, specifically just music stuff. One about Arthur Doyle, sort of exiled, jailed French. American from Alabama that was jailed in Europe, and just this weird pockets where Thurston Moore released some of his music, and I made a documentary about the scene in Athens, Georgia, where it has all these weird strands of very influential music that is just obviously outside of like a full-blown mainstream radar, I guess, at the time. I'll totally check that out.
Yeah. Now you make our job really hard, as Clark will, I'm sure, mention in the coming hour, that we do a lot of hard journalism here. And our partner in our detective work is mostly IMDb. And it seems like you're not good friends with our friend IMDb.
Why is that? I mean, I do. Yeah. I don't have many good relationships with the IMDb, even from like being at fucking Slam Dance during a festival and just all the wrong information about this film that eventually won and stuff. And it's just, yeah, sure. Joke or no joke. I'm ready to fucking kick them in the nuts. Yeah, go ahead.
What, did you have more on that, Russ? I didn't know where you were going with that.
I'm trying to give you room, because it's the thing, Jorge. I have kind of like romanticized my discovery of Fat Tuesday, which I can't even really take credit for. My love, Oksana. Oh man. So we love film. We're horror fans, so we like digging for gems over here.
Gotcha.
And I kind of make a hobby out of watching films that people won't watch. And God, I even hate saying that now, because especially in the podcast universe, like, we're watching the film so you don't have to, is such a like hack phrase. And it's it's like, the thing I want to do after being educated by 4 community college courses on film is I really would like to elevate the language and the conversation on movies that people aren't talking about but are probably deeply moved by, and nobody, there's nobody to have a conversation with. And fuck, man, we were hanging out one night in the middle of the lockdown, and we were just back and forth, like, you pick a movie, I pick a movie. And one of our buddies on Instagram posted Fat Tuesday, and Oksana was like, yeah, let's do that. And dude, my mind was fucking blown. And I don't know, I tend to talk at people, and I'm clearly very excited that we tracked you down and got you on here. So yeah,
and also thank you for the on that end as well.
Oh, thanks for tracking me down. It's my pleasure to talk to you guys.
So Jorge, my first question is that it looks like you've made a couple films so are you a Louisiana native?
No, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico until I was 15, and then my parents moved to Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana, 2 hours from New Orleans, and
sure.
I lived there for 9 years, and then Athens, Georgia for 5, and then I've been in New York for the past 15.
Oh, okay. So how was that transition going from Puerto Rico to Lafayette, Louisiana?
I thought that my relationship with my principal at my new high school on my last 2 years of high school was going to be like Zach and Mr. Belvins, and so Puerto Rico had this, there was this sort of a gap of this cultural I mean, I'm pretty pale skinned, but both my parents are Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico is just kind of all over the place, and in terms of its just where there's all my grandmother is darker, and it's just it's very diversely colored and Americanized island, and I love it. But there's this weird element to it that gets romanticized in the wrong way, and I take 99% of the blame for that. And I thought that I was just going to go in and and then when I went in, it was Lafayette, Louisiana. It was fucking 1992, and I had a Motley Crue T-shirt on, and I had a long bangs, and my hair was really just kind of golden, just like flowing, just straight hair. It was crazy, and nobody knew I was kind of Puerto Rican until I spoke and I had an accent, and within 2 months they were like football dude and his fucking other buddy just like spit on me and just punched me around in the parking lot at Taco Bell, and yeah, it was just the South is just unapologetic in its indifference, I guess, to diversity, or but at the same time that's just one element of that culture, which I love, and I've made most of my films there. So it's definitely just I just came back from this past Mardi Gras, which was non-existent because of COVID, in Crawley, Louisiana, and I shot a sequel to my film Shadow Zombie, and I just know that Louisiana is just a big part of how I express myself with landscapes, because there's a darkness and a lawlessness there that's just like a headless dog on the railroad tracks, and it's just Louisiana was dark.
Yeah, I completely understand. I was born and raised in Mississippi, so I am very familiar with Louisiana, and I feel like there's 3 or 4 different versions of Louisiana. Northern Louisiana is certainly different than southern Louisiana and even central Louisiana, and especially if you're talking about New Orleans and then even Lafayette, they've got their own climates and cultures, and it's just a lot going on there. So even Baton Rouge, certainly, but New Orleans itself is, you enter. I grew up 2 hours from New Orleans, but a completely different world. But it's a world that the city, no matter who you are and where you come from, I feel like New Orleans will accept you if you accept them. And the people of New Orleans are just very open, and I think the people make the city.
They do, and it's interesting because I was only like 2.5 hours from Louisiana, from New Orleans, and I was in Lafayette, and in between that distance, in the middle was Baton Rouge, and going from Lafayette to Baton Rouge, which was just an hour away, was incredible. It was a college town.
Yeah,
I went to see Cat Power then when she, when she was playing, and it was just the place to go. A few shows came to Lafayette because some of our really good, just really caring, just like scenesters and like people that just started opening clubs, like they just started bringing shows there, and because Lafayette was kind of a weirdly bigger and more spacious and cleaner than Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is, to me at that time, felt like it had been like sucked dry out of a life force. Like it was just existing as just machines and just pumping the essentials, and the creativity just stifled, and it's just like far in between too many fucking weird cracked corners and divisions and New Orleans. And then an hour later you go to New Orleans and it's like, boom, you're like in this European Gothic, just like mesmerizing and also frightening place. And I've shot a few films there. The first one with Josephine Decker. Well, I'd been shooting there for years, but I made my first feature specifically in New Orleans with Josephine Becker, Sisters of the Plague, and that was fun. And then going back for Fat Tuesday, I already kind of even had a little more roots with a few friends and connections, and this is at this point I was just not even getting a DP or anything. I was just like, I gotta just shoot this myself because I'm editing this, and I don't have the time to be telling a DP, you know.
Right.
Man, I'm dying to go to New Orleans. Now, Jorge, Clark already knows this, but I'm incredibly boring and I'm not very worldly. And I've mostly lived in San Francisco Bay Area my whole life. And, you know, we used to get like metal bands and punk bands through here, and we'd talk to them after shows and they'd be like, hey, man, like, because, you know, we'd be younger and be like, man, we want to get out of here. And they'd be like, why? They're like, the world fucking sucks, dude. New York and San Francisco are the only cities worth being in. And we would hear that all the time. And then now here I am as an adult, and I'm like, who the fuck was I listening to? And a couple things have happened, including gentrification, which seems to have run out all of the poor people and all of the culture. And I'm kind of like lingering around, like, what we put on horror movies at independent theaters. And it's like, where's our audience? Like, there's a tech boom and everything. And we're buddies with the special effects artist who lives out in New Orleans. And he constantly is like, dude, we are brimming with culture. You should come out here. Also, rent is affordable. And it's like, and then I see your movie like Fat Tuesday, and it's just like, man, it's almost like a fantasy world. Except I was sure that you were a native, like you were native born in Louisiana. Just because the narrative of Fat Tuesday seems like it's almost anti-tourist in a way where we come into the world as an outsider.
Yeah, that sort of partners with my question of, you know, your familiarity with New Orleans and, you know, just the culture of the city and the state. Do you think that certainly helped you with, you know, forming the narrative for Fat Tuesday?
New Orleans to me always was not the most. It wasn't like the perfect setting for a movie for me because it's a city, and there's in the South, even in cities, there's still this openness to being filmed and being part of something, and also just kind of fooling around with the camera, and you know, unlike like LA or something, if you get too obvious, you know, indie filmmaking, it's just definitely just a lot more stricter. And the thing was with New Orleans, I always find myself outside of New Orleans and more in the sort of Cajun-y, almost, I hate to use this, but sort of gummo-ish. Like in 1998, after like when I started getting to like Dogma 95 and all that stuff, I watched a lot of Herzog stuff very young, and then I discovered Corinne, and something happened. I started seeing things in Louisiana and around me that I was already filming, or just a similar sentiment of like how poetic how sadly poetic, you know, a town that's been just run to the ground because of just whatever the white privilege, like city planning committee for the past century, you know, has just made it clear, you know, it's just brutal. It took me a while to get into New Orleans. And I shot some stuff with a little kid tap dancing like back in 2001, and I'd follow him around while he tap danced, and I paid him, and that's in another film, FTW. But yeah, New Orleans I stayed away from because I felt like I wasn't going to have the freedom. But it wasn't until I did Sisters and we ingrained ourselves there with a few friends that I had met through going to the festival there. Because I've had like 4 films there, and so I've had some relationships kind of grow. And when I go back, I was like, wait, I can just go by myself now. Just bring audio, I'll just do it all myself. And then I have one of the locals that I've known for years, Michelle Kowalski, the redhead, the fox, the one that gets her face beaten with the rock. She just gathered her friends, specific friends that are performers, musicians, and it was just one of those casting the people and then just steering their motivation and the story slightly, and we shot it over 6 days, and it was easy because the settings were nighttime, and it just New Orleans actually worked for me, beautifully. Because even in Sisters of the Plague, it was just a bitch, just getting everything, like having a DP with her, with her assistant, and then just them just bitching about stuff and blah blah, and then fucking everybody's like, I was just like, I can't do this. If I'm gonna go into New Orleans, we're moving an inch, and we just brought a huge vessel that's just moved an inch just now, and it's just really pissing me off. And I think after that, I was just like, I just have to shoot my films. I was like, why am I not shooting films myself? I shoot. I shot for Jason Banker and shot second camera for him and edited his films. I can, I do a lot of documentary work, so I started refining that. And I think Fat Tuesday was the one that was like, okay, I'm just doing it myself. And I was more conscientious of what I was filming, how I was filming it, and thinking of how I was going to edit it as well. So that's why the process was a lot quicker. And there was not somebody trying many things. And in New Orleans, yeah, it's just every time they just wear the same thing. You'd say New Orleans, just step out. It was just beautiful. It was just the place has to be right for me, because I can't really change things around. I don't want to. I want to I step into it and just document.
Okay, let me jump in there. You've mentioned so many things. We gotta go back. Okay. So when I first watched your film, I got very excited, and I came on here, and it was episode 237 for anybody who hasn't heard that yet. And I was trying to struggle with film comparisons to make with your style, which I think I landed on Larry Clark meets Jason Banker. And
wait, Jason Banker? You said Jason Banker?
Yeah.
Like Toad Road?
Yeah.
I was just last night. I was just fucking watching. We were hanging out. He lives 2 blocks from here. He shot. Yeah, we fucking worked together for over 10 years and made so many films and worked on other films and shot other films for Orno Tokel and other filmmakers.
Dude, no, Jorge, it was like 11 p.m. when I think we started watching your movie here. And at the end of it, I was like, fuck, man, it's got the vibe of Larry Clark, where Larry, and specifically I'm thinking of What's Up Rockers, where you're like, these are interesting characters that you can tell they're a real friend group, but you can also tell they're not actors. And it's stylized. But the thing with Larry Clark is he's a voyeur in a kind of uncomfortably pervy way, which it adds an edge to his films. But he's also very private. Like, you don't get a lot of public setting. And I think What's Up Rocker stands out to me because there's a lot of like the kids in the wild and they're skating and it feels like they're a part of their world. Where your film is very confrontational with the neighborhood. It's like, it's on par with like The Wire, where like the town is a character in your movie. And I'm like, what else? What does that remind me of? Like, who else really captured that indie vibe? And I could only think of fucking Jason Banker, because felt a lot like that. Like,
I feel a little Tim Sutton as well.
Yeah, it's very Tim Sutton and Jorge. We have a similar thing where we have a deeply crisp image, yet narratively it's so cloudy, and you're kind of like, it's beautiful, but it's like you're never flat on your feet.
Yeah,
like you're always kind of caught off guard, and you think like there's a weird energy, like it's very alive. And I just sat there trying to wrap my head around it, and then the first thank you in your damn credits was Jason Banker, and I'm like, I love that. Like, I love imagining you two.
You have been singing the praises of Toad Road ever since we started this show.
Dude, in LA, down at Dark Delicacies, they have a like poster section, and they had a fucking signed Toad Road poster. And I was like, who the fuck? Like, really? And I totally bought it. And I'm waiting to frame that bitch. But much like Jason Banker, I was kind of bummed out to, come to our private detective friend IMDb and see that it looked like neither of you were doing much anymore.
I've kind of been making films like pretty much every other year. I don't release. I only have like Shadow Zombie and Sisters of the Plague and Fat Tuesday, and then I just finished Bride of Shadow Zombie, and but then I have like 8 other films, like, and they're just these films that just exist like on just online, these features, documentaries, these very intense fucking documentaries, and just like this film I made with Jason Banker, My Name is Faith, as well as the other two, Felt and Toad Road. Like My Name is Faith is just not available. It's just they're all just in this weird place. But no, I just finished that and just starting to I'm shooting Chinatown, this slapstick, aggressively slapstick sort of film with my friend Bradford Willingham. But yeah, it's weird. And then I just finished Death Wish Revision, which I basically it's like a feature. It took me like 6 months, and it's just brutal. And I talked to classes about it and online festivals. Jason is just a little more secluded, and his filmography is a little more spread out, and there's stuff that nobody knows about, like his film Squatter. It's just a super fucking dark film that I edited as well, that he shot, and Squatter's in New York. So yeah, it's just we're just not seeping into the radar, as much as we probably should be pushing ourselves into, I guess. I don't know.
Y'all strike me as just too cool for it. Like, I don't imagine you guys getting off on like posting on Instagram every day.
Oh,
so
no.
Yeah, you know what? Let us go ahead and be your surrogates for that. I was shocked when Oksana said she tracked you down, and I think.
Wait, why were you shocked?
I don't know, because so the thing about Toad Road, which I am congratulations on shooting that film. There's some of the most haunting still shots that like play in my mind that I think about all the time, and I talk about too much on this show. And
agreed.
Part of the thing with Toad Road is it's like you get these powerful pieces of art, and then you're kind of like, what the fuck? Like, first off, to even come across that film, something had to have happened. Like, you either got a cool buddy or like you just got lucky on Amazon Prime.
No. Like, fucking, it was fucking, no, it was picked by, it premiered at Fantasia. It had been worked on for years. It was refined into this monster, and he just kept on perfecting it. And, it went through so many outlets. We got fucking rejected for, like 4 times from Sundance. Like, Sundance doesn't give a fuck about any of these movies. And it was just, Fantasia, Mitch at Fantasia was just like, this is beautiful. And from that point on, like, Elijah Wood jumped in with what was later Spectre Vision, and Toad Road was like their first kind of like film, that they were basically pushing as their first vehicle as a company. And man, we did not have a buddy. We fine-tuned that thing until it just cut through,
Oh no, I believe it. I was saying, if you're like a casual horror fan and Toad Road has appeared on your TV, you've got a cool buddy who knew some shit, who either went to Fantasia or who like, prides themselves on being like, I got the cool film you never heard about, which shocks me, because I'm like, how has like people who tout themselves as like these important critics or like horror tastemakers, like how have people not latched onto you guys?
We're just not, we're like deepening into this weird place in it where it's our world, and it literally, it's not something that we do knowing that we're aware that we're almost like turning our back to a communication with the outer world as much as we should, or as much as like people expect you to, and we're just not aware of that. We're so into what we're doing, and I'm into my professional work, which really feeds into my craft, my filmmaking. And same with Jason. Jason is at a high level in the industry, just working at a very high end level. And his films, that's why that's why he doesn't make 15 fucking films. It's like each one is just this kind of opus. So it's we both have different sort of output styles. But fuck 4 years.
I will say, I think ultimately it really makes the enigma all that more interesting, because when you do stumble upon a Fat Tuesday or a Toad Road, the first question is, what the hell did I just watch? What's real? What isn't real?
Yeah.
And then when you Google a movie like Toad Road, and then you find out like the lead passed away, and then there's not like a lot more, like there's not a lot of like fanfare or anything. It makes it like scary.
Well,
like,
I mean, it sort of sends a spine tingling sensation to us, especially because we're big found footage people. So I think that a lot of this goes in the same vein, which I think is why we we hold films like Fat Tuesday and Toad Road so close to our heart, because again, Jorge, we run a found footage film festival, so like we're always scraping everything to see what we can find. And but so I find it very interesting that you make documentaries, because you shoot narrative features like a documentary. Because with several scenes in Fat Tuesday, not only did it feel like a documentary, but more specifically, in certain scenes, I very felt much like a nature documentary. Like there's two scenes that really will stick in my memory. And the first one will be like when one of the characters injures his hand and he's bleeding and he's sort of on his own. And then we see our main lead, the actress, she's looking at him. And the way that you shoot this is very much like a cheetah on, in the Serengeti looking at a, wounded gazelle. And we get to zoom in on a close up of her eyes, and then we go back to him sort of mending his wounds, and then we see her, make her mark. But then it kind of turns into the way like a wolf will attack dogs.
You said mending his wounds, by the way.
Wounds. Please, I just got off a plane and I got to go back on another plane. Cut me some slack here today, please. But yeah, so then she basically acts like a wolf when they're preying on dogs. And what that is that essentially a wolf will act like a dog, lure them in, and then make their attack. And that's, I don't know if you had that in his, you meant to make a sort of nature doc, but I just felt that way.
I shoot a lot of documentary, and it comes from just picking up the camera and being in the South and not having, a community of like-minded, just artists that would be actors and I guess just a crew. So everything became a one-man sort of crew thing. You sort of move around and you do it all yourself. So by the point that I met Jason, we were very, sorry, I'm at the office. Very, 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 no, when I met Jason, he was in the same sort of place where he had just been shooting stuff. He was doing skater, he was just filming himself skating and making videos of his friends skating around Pennsylvania. So we would approach with the doc stuff, in whichever way we could. And that developed as we started becoming fans of horror specifically. I think, that's what I feel like. We're very similar on that, we like chocolate milk and donuts as well. By the point that we understand, because we have worked in real sets, and weird, and from indie to just huge, silly monster sets, and we have an understanding of how everything works, and then after having sort of gathered all these tools for documentary filmmaking, when you put them together, it becomes this sort of mega indie tool where you're just like, oh wait, I can film and stylize it as I film it, do sound, film it like a documentary. And then the idea that we were just we're going to try to make a movie without even writing a script, because Torgo didn't really, well, it had a script that he was sort of an inspiration, but Jason just can't conform to that sort of stiffness even of the narrative flow. Everything had to just feel just like the first scene, that was just the level that you're just working at, and with the story. So without a script, doing that over and over again, I've done it several times, and Jason as well, we've developed this sort of understanding of the 3 acts without having to specifically tell people or give them pages. We just try to cast the actual real versions of those actors, or vice versa. Find these people that are would be perfect characters for, an actual film. So we just get better at it and find techniques to work with other filmmakers. Documentary filmmaking and is just embedded in all of this. And I just wanted to actually see, with my non-script sort of style and doc style, I wanted to see if I could make like a giallo that was in some way feel like it was part like a genre, even specifically, because the film that I'd done before, Fugue, which is not online because I just don't have a good relationship with that film. I was just like, I hate, art house filmmaking sucks. This is bullshit. Anybody can actually make an ambiguous film and it can get awards for just being just lazy. I don't know. And so I was like, how about like doing something that speaks to a whole room, and at the same time it's just still jarring and disturbing and enlightening at times, just like docs are. So Fat Tuesday was like the beginning of a very alignment of devices that I had been working sort of separately for years. During Shadow Zombie, I was filming. No, I'm sorry. During Sisters of the Plague, while I was filming that same year, off and on, I was filming a Peculiar Noise, a documentary about music, and I did the same thing with Fugue. As I was filming Fugue, I was doing another music documentary, Arlene's World Famous, about karaoke singers. And then I did, during Shadow Zombie, I did a jazz documentary. So I was keeping these devices very separate, and I think Fat Tuesday was the beginning of them all aligned and feeling like a movie, but what kind of movie and what the hell? And
Fat Tuesday it's a unique blend of genre and of narrative. And earlier when Clark was mentioning the Unnamed Footage Festival, or our found footage exclusively film fest, a lot of what we end up talking about is just verisimilitude and kind of getting away from like a Hollywood narrative, like the structure of a Hollywood film. And I think the reason I latched onto Toad Road so much is because it felt like the critique the only negative critique I've really ever heard of Toad Road is that the third act kind of like pitters out, like it kind of fades away, like there's no end point. And to me, I always thought it played as a memory. like it feels like real life. Like when you think back on like a summer, there's no exact end. It just kind of narratively evolves into something different. And when I was watching Fat Tuesday, we open up and, you know, we have a hitchhiker who instantly, you know, we're dealing probably with a small budget, but it looks beautiful. And this is like the sweet zone for me. But the minute she gets into a car, she hails a car, it feels like, oh, we're doing like I mentioned earlier, like a Larry Clark, like a Harmony Korine, like it feels pretty raw. But then we get transported into the town and it's like, holy shit, we're shooting guerrilla now. And you tap into a way more structured version of like that uneasy feeling I got from Toad Road, where it's kind of like Toad Road was the, you know, a rural, like in my mind, Toad Road takes place in a rural neighborhood in a shack that is kind of like the David Lynch theme of, you know, the real horrors happen behind the picket fence where a bunch of kids are getting drunk at their parents' house kind of thing. Right. Except with Fat Tuesday, it's like we're on the fucking street. And it just felt so goddamn raw. And again, in a very lame attempt to call back to my community college training in film, I read this very renowned book called Hitchcock Truffaut. And there's this moment,
God bless you,
where Truffaut called out Hitchcock and was like, you know, they were talking about Psycho. And no, they're talking about Notorious and how the audience got a menage a trois with like Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. And that it never really made sense to me because I'm like, when I'm watching a movie, I don't want to be in there making out with like Tom Cruise and some girl or something. Except
speak for yourself.
In Fat Tuesday, I was like, I fucking understand. Because it really felt like it was you, Jorge, on the street. And a lot of the movie, you're in a half circle like you would be in any city, hanging out on the street talking. Except that the camera occupied a space like you're a person. So the audience was almost literally like, hey, here are your surrogate friends for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But it fucking felt real. Like, I don't understand. Your documentary background makes sense how that works, but I'm guessing that other than Hannah Gross, which is a whole thing we can get into later, but were these all non-actors? Like, are they your real friends that you got performing here?
Several of them were people that were aware of the films, and yeah, we were friends. I am friends with Michelle Kowalski, and she just did an amazing job rounding up friends that, because I told her, you know, you can be a producer on it, and you can also be one of the, you know, main friends in the film, and, you know, have screen time, and be, you know, acting. So she basically was casting based on the dynamics that she had already sort of developed with these musicians and also, you know, actors, and that's how that started unfolding. I knew that I could not get a random non-actor for the main part. I first tried with Josephine Decker again, and also with Eva Gusheva, and I found I was hanging out with this friend that was at the time dating Hannah Gross, and they came to this theater, and I didn't know. I didn't even know who but I knew who she was. I just didn't recognize her. And my friend was like, "Oh, just put her in the movie." And I was like, "Oh shit, Hannah!" And then, and then I was like, she's not gonna whatever." And then so the next day I texted her, and she was like, "It's perfect. You know, I'll just," because she had just finished shooting the Mindhunter, and that first season she was in, and she would be leaving the shoot and then just the next day just coming to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. She was a huge piece of the puzzle because she had these skills that I could throw at her, and just stuff like I just be like, you know, whenever anybody asks you your name, just give them a different name every time, and just, I'm not going to tell you what name or whatever, just do whatever. You pick it. And she comes from a background of just indie, just very indie background. It's very, but it's like theater as well. And she looked incredibly composed and just like tightly wound, and all of a sudden she just like fall like this, like spaghetti, like just on the back. Like she just had she surprised me on one of the first days. We were just hanging out, having a drink, just chilling, and then she just kind of did this weird thing that I'd seen in some instances working with Josephine Decker for that year and a half before Madeline.
Yeah.
Which I'm in. I'm one of the. We were there. We developed the film with her, and I hadn't seen that sort of style since.
Wait, you're in Madeline's Madeline?
Yeah.
Oh, Randy, do you want to chime in?
I love that movie. I was just researching who you were in the movie a couple minutes ago.
I think I am. I'm. Yeah, I have two roles. I play this crazy person outside.
Okay.
And then I actually play one of the acting troupe players. One of the actors.
Cool.
Troupe, yeah.
Jorge, you are clearly too cool to be talking to us.
I mean, you looped Randy in a half hour in. That's new territory, Jorge.
You guys are clearly making films that like people like, God, man, we're so oversaturated with Hulu and Netflix, and you guys are out there making these fucking cool films, and you're like keeping them. You're just keeping them. You're not even sharing them all with us.
Oh man, I mean, we just want, we would, you know, God, I'll throw them at you. I'll have a bag of them here. I mean,
we'll take them.
Well, okay, I don't want to lose this thread. Now, the choice to use Hannah, I'm kind of shocked by that. In my head, the painting I've made of this community that you're clearly in, to me, I would think it would almost be like rejecting Hollywood. And yet, you know, I watch the film and you can really tell that Hannah is in control. This whole movie. And Clark, you mentioned earlier the predator and prey kind of element.
Yeah.
To me, as like a hack horror fan, it always read to me as a slasher movie.
As well, and it's been well documented on the show how I feel about the slasher subgenre.
But and again, he the black gloves, like it was clearly like hinting at giallo.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, giallo is usually more style over substance, which I'm fine with. I love those kind of movies. Yet Jorge, you've kind of reinvigorated the fucking slasher genre here, because you've introduced a character who, you know, much like Freddy or Jason, we're rooting for her in the beginning, mainly because she's the protagonist.
Yeah.
Yet we're introduced to the cast of victims, and I could have watched the movie of just them hanging out for 2.5 hours with no genre element.
Yeah, and the reason why is like with this, Jorge, you sort of subverted the whole formulaic approach of a slasher, which is really sort of my hang up with the slasher. But
the tropes are there, though.
Yes, but it's done in such a way to where it helps people like me. Like anytime, like slasher, sometimes I just feel like it's homework. Like anytime it's very formulaic, my mind shuts down because I finished college, undergraduate degree with 6 years with a 2.2 GPA. But when I hear homework, I shut down.
A formulaic film, though, to me would mean that it's incredibly passive. Like it requires nothing of
But
you.
I see where we're going, and I'm not interested.
So you got an active mind and you get bored.
Okay, that's a very complimentary way of saying that I'm lazy, but yes.
No, I'm just saying you need a film that's constantly keeping you on your toes mentally, and slashers do not offer that. And as a fan, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it does. Like, also, I mean, just the difference of the way it's shot. Like, the film is beautiful, like cinema verite, and we're just on the street. And the way that, I mean, it makes sense that you were the editor, because oh man, there's so much. The way that you capture street, like one of my favorite things about this film, the chaos parade. And it's like, oh, this is chaos. I get it. And you're kind of filming people on a float and they're wearing masks. And I'm like, okay, that's probably like a release thing. Like you don't have to get permission maybe. Although it felt like, you know, permission might be out the window anyway on this film. And then there's a moment where, you know, they meet Lindsay or Rachel or whatever name she chooses.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have to go to Bourbon Street. And the palpable chaos is just, as an audience member in this film, it made me uneasy because now my characters were thrown into fucking bro town. Like, one of my favorite things is that dude who grabs I believe it was Chris by the shoulder and says, like, let's take our shirts off.
Oh yeah, that
Let's
guy.
but you framed him, so he's in frame and his head's cut off, which almost gives him like a Charlie Brown adult feel. Like, this guy's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but he feels like there's an energy there, like, we got to get away from this dude. And your fucking actors never break character. And a lot of story is built in these moments. And we come from found footage, and I'm so curious how you fucking brought this shit together. Like, like, dude, how did you get the audio? Like, were people like lava'd up, or was it lavaliers? What are they called?
Yeah, lavalier mic. I have mic.
And again, Jorge, I'm sorry. I am so excited about this film.
No, I'm in a, you know, I'm totally. I appreciate your love, and I'm holding on my shoulders right now, trying to keep up. Hold up. So I just want to say about the shot about the guy that grabs him and he's like, take off your shirts or whatever. Like, that's sort of like rogue emergency doc filmmaking where I'm ready for whatever, and I'm trying to use this lens where, you know, the background is out of focus, so there is a sort of security blanket that I'm not just capturing a lot of shit that's going to make the movie, you know, just unusable. And I'm trying to keep up with it with this focus, and I built this little sort of I don't know. I'm like dancing with them. I feel like they're coming forward and I'm moving back, and then they move back and I move forward. And I after you do dock a lot and stop using, I mean, you know, I stopped using, you know, automatic focus like 20 years ago. So my eye and my fingers are kind of tuned to something that I can understand and catch. And that scene with Take Off Her Shirts, I remember it was like, okay, here we go. I have to do three things. It has to continue being in the narrative of the film, which I don't have any problems because Chris is fucking awesome. And
amen there.
Yeah, and then the second thing was I need to make sure that I don't do a shot where I have to cut because of his identity or, you know, just showing his face. And then the third thing was like, it has to feel like it's part of the movie and it's not like an outtake that I just left there. So when I turned to the side, I literally knew that he was bigger. So I made it almost seem like this dude is so big, he's not even on the fucking frame. And so it's shot in a certain way where I just stayed in Chris's sort of eyesight, but it just like all those three things lined up, and I was like, great. Because if one of those things were not there, it would have definitely looked like the scene had broken and I'm extending it. There were just some weird elements to that sort of approach, and you're just ready for anything. And a lot of that stuff, it's like, okay, tell me, just talk about whatever. Talk about the panties or whatever, you know. I just basically throw some shit at them that they're suggesting back at me, and they basically start, and I know that I can shoot them straight through this specific street because of the traffic, because of the lighting. So I know that anything that I do will be gold because the background is already in motion. If I just stay on them, everything's just going to be gravy. It's going to be great. And we walk through the whole block, and I grew up with fucking Dogma 95 was like a huge deal. And those rules were really, they were just a foundation for this approach to my personal sort of film experience, I guess, and jump cutting at the right moments. It doesn't feel like I'm jump cutting. It just feels like I'm blinking and breathing, and you know, and that's how I try to integrate and like just put these two things together that are usually weren't really, even at times it felt like never meant to be together. Like, why hasn't there been like a real just gross, sweaty real life Mardi Gras movie because of you have to recreate the scenario. Like you can't just go to Mardi Gras and start filming. It'll be total fucking chaos. It's impossible. So I was like, what if I just, Jason Banker provided the camera and stuff, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do this, and yeah, and it was a weird.
That's an important thing. Jorge, I have a page of notes. I haven't looked at them at all, and I think it shows. One of the first things I wanted to ask you was, what the hell did you shoot this on? Because it almost gives off the vibe of a camera. Like you're kind of allowed. I mean, a phone. God, I called it a camera.
Yes, you did.
I know. It's almost like it's shot like Tangerine.
Most films are shot on a camera. Just so
I know. So Sean Baker, he talked about like the freedom of shooting on an iPhone, where people don't fuck with you on the street. And I'm like, we have to be doing that, right? Like, but no, you were shooting on what kind of camera?
Well, for that, I used the Canon, the C300. But what I did was I did natural lighting. So there's a lot of underexposure that I kind of used in a very intentional sort of manner. And then also I added like a layer of grain to just make it just grimier and less detailed, just because I feel like the lens had to be greasy and murky and C300 with like, I think just this sort of long lens. I just had like two lenses, and that's it. And no, we only lobbed them towards the end. I just used a shotgun mic on top of the camera for the whole film.
Wow. So you must have really been pulling attention while you were out there in the crowds.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm just so used to that shit. Just filming, even just developing those weird muscles with Jason in terms of like filming at a Juve festival, like in downtown Brooklyn with 5,000 people crammed, and we're walking backwards, just filming cops' faces and just doing all, people, shots ringing out and us running, but still maintaining a sense of I am filming. So like, I think Mardi Gras was like just the perfect storm. I was like, okay, I can shoot this in 6 days. Every night will look the same. If I shoot it doc style with these people, where every time I point the camera, anything they say, it's just embedded in that reality, I can make this happen. And with my friend, this person, Matt Kuraglian, he helped me kind of form, like, we just did it on like iPhone notepads. It was like a 5-page little notepad, whatever. That was the whole movie. And it just had all these sort of points that it made, like, she gets picked up. She meets one friend, then introduces to these other friends. And then basically what we wrote kind of happened. Her chemistry with Chris, Hannah's chemistry with Chris was like immediately. It was like Chris, his eyes were just like, he had googly eyes. It was like, he was all over the place. And she, he's just a very talented, fun guy. And so that also helped just make it flow like easily. And everything was kind of done in one takes as well, except for maybe a couple of things. It just had maybe a bumpy start, but other than that, like single takes were the thing. And it's just about the editing. You can include a halfway rough zoom manually into a shot, and it'll feel perfect if it's just edited right. So all those things just go into just the act. It just improves the acting. It's just a big mesh of stuff we've learned doing doc stuff and just putting it into horror.
Now, Jorge, my big question here is that I want to know all the information available concerning Light Bulb Guy.
Oh, Duct Tape the Clown?
Yes.
It's funny. Super nice guy, contacted me a few months ago, and he was like, hey, is there any way you can talk to like Tubi or whoever? Like there was one of the streaming services that had Fat Tuesday, and on the captions they had translated his name duct tape to Duck Dick, and, and he was like, "Oh shit! Like, can you fix that?" I was like, "I don't even know." And then luckily he sent him an email, and they actually fixed it. So, but
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, no, that's great. I was like, that sucks. I don't. Who do I write? The president? I have no idea.
Duck Dick.
Now, damn, the giant bro dude that grabbed Chris.
Don't get off the subject. I want to know more about
No, Duck Dick. I want to know more about this production because, again, the found footage thing and just how these movies are made. One of the things that everybody we talk to who makes found footage is the shot ratio and just how much footage they had. Now, you shot this for a week, and it sounds like you were doing like. Also, I have to tell you, it really felt like you pulled focus when that big dude grabbed Chris. And it was the first time I ever just wanted to cheer for the cinematographer, where I'm like, wow, the command you had in that moment, it really made it feel like this is your world and Mardi Gras is just happening around it. And when people came into your bubble, you were in complete control. So I'm at awe with the way you shot this movie. And your fucking actors, dude, nothing fazed them. At no point did it ever felt like they acknowledged the camera. And for everybody who did acknowledge the camera, it was kind of like an eerie glare through a window in your house where like somebody walks by and they see you briefly for a moment. And it was really startling. I'm sorry. I just really like this film.
Yeah. Jorge, this is the section of the show where Russell just carries on the conversation with himself. Well, he'll circle back in a second.
No, I mean, like, so how much footage did you end up with at the end of the week? Because honestly, if you came in here and said you filmed it in a night, I would have believed you. The makeup, the sweat, everybody looked like it was one night lived in.
Yeah, no, we shot in 6 days, and the thing about New Orleans is once the lights go down, once the sun goes down, it just it's nonstop. It's just nonstop. So everybody was just sleeping during the day, and then the continuity was just it was very stress free, just because they just had to look exactly the same, and we just step out, and you don't have to adjust anything. It's just unless it's raining, and towards the end the weather got a little weird with the fog and a little bit of rain, but other than that, it's like that's Louisiana. It's like it rains, it shines, it's just back and forth, so yeah, we shot like those 6 days, and I just shoot a lot of stuff that I don't use, but this was just because the camera wasn't smaller and more. I had to put it over my shoulder. It was just a little bit more of a effort to start filming. I didn't film as much as I shoot documentary wise because I used to use smaller cameras, and we shot, I don't even know what this means, but yeah, like 350 gigs, like like that's it. Yeah, that's all we did.
Do you have like an ballpark of how many hours you had?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9. I don't know.
Wow. That's incredible. Dude, we've talked to people on here who've had 200 hours. The Triangle, our buddies who made that movie, 200 hours of footage. Am I shocked? I don't know. I think you're masterful, man. You turned this movie out from 9 hours of footage in the chaos of Mardi Gras. And it feels completely fucking natural. Like, during this lockdown, it made me nostalgic. Like, there's so much unspoken shit that happens in this movie that really just makes it feel real. Like when you're walking through a crowd with friends, you can't talk to each other. There's no like ability to communicate properly. So you always go off into an alley. It just felt so fucking natural when they're on a stoop eating pizza and there's somebody there who's tossing around money. And, you got the one friend who's like, who the fuck is this person? And they're like aware. And she embodied the survivor girl role in a way that the final girl, in a way that, oh man, I don't know, man. It felt so fresh. And was it?
Well, the thing is, I think what made all of this it was set on track into like a familiar sort of path. It was like, okay, like stranger comes into town, you know, death is starting to pile up, except we know who's killing from the beginning, except we the audience don't even have the God complex, and we don't know any backstory, we don't know any secrets, we only know what she tells us. And this character came about after, again, that fucking movie Fugue that I made with with some actors that just made me just hate filmmaking in the year. And I think after that, I was like, you know what? I want to do a film about a woman who is not a victim. She's just as vile and monstrous as like just female, just like a male, other male sort of villains that just appear, and you know they're just born bad. There's no we don't even know why they're doing it. Like we're not even sure if we should pity or like champion them. Like we do absolutely know nothing about them. We just know that they're privileged and they have no accountability. And we move forward through with those things, but I still, with this other guy Matt, we were doing these very familiar things, from the black gloves to, you know, to the like, you shouldn't be around here, you know, by yourself. You should come with us. And it's just so ironic. He's just literally inviting like the wolf, you know, to come hang out with the sheep, and it was just familiar. And then when we get towards the end, where you're just kind of like the one girl's figuring it out, there's one thing with Matt that when we talked about the film, it like there just couldn't be a reckoning, and there couldn't be a flip or like I mean, just a twist. She just had to plow through all of them mercilessly and get on a plane for another vacation, you know, and that's what made it really fresh, and also was free of mechanisms that would have required specific dialogue to get the exposition like to a place where half of the audience or half of, you know, of the people watching it like feel like they're on the same page, and it's not this like incomprehensible like narrative.
See, you did a lot of visual exposition that I love, though. Like, you've kind of created an urban legend for locals. Like, the urban legend is beware the tourist. And we get all these great scenes that on my second watching just really stood out, where we have Lindsay just like enjoying a drink and some dessert. And she's up on a balcony and she's kind of like, you know, surveying the land. And those moments feel so powerful on the second watch, because it's like.
Did you say dessert? She was eating filet mignon.
Was it? Okay, is that not dessert?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
No, but so okay.
See what I deal with?
Here's the thing with genre. So when we're dealing with giallos, mostly I think the horror community, they look at them as masterful art pieces in a horror context. So we get like Argento and we get Fulci, and their kill scenes are elaborate and like dreamlike, and they're very like colorful and artful, and the rest of the film is usually non sequitur and kind of hard to follow, and there's, you know, overdubbing, and they kind of fall apart. Now in your film, the film feels artful and surreal, and like we're in this like never ending party, and then there are these very sobering murders that happen, and even your editing style becomes so much more manic, and it's almost like confrontational with the audience that this is a movie. And I don't know, did you have any particular like aim when you were shooting like the murders?
No, we knew the only visual information was from like the iPhone notepad thing. And what I do is I go into this weird mode where I every day when I wake up and I'm you know, somewhere making a film and waking up every day with a scene that's supposed to happen. I usually wake up and have coffee and just kind of rewrite and just kind of visualize like all the steps to go in and out of like the scenes we're supposed to do, but I don't really, very rarely do I write them out or draw them out, because they're very organic and they're based already with the flow and the actors that I'm familiar with, that I've acted, that I've worked with to that point. And so when we get to the murders, everything's gravy. Everything's easy to just roll around Mardi Gras and have people scream at each other. Everything is in this context of total chaos where you're not expecting real audio. You're just glad you're hearing it. It feels like you're in a war zone. All the footage is valuable. Now when it shifts into it drastically shifts into the murders. As an editor, it's so easy to be like, hey, what are you doing? That's another type of movie. Like, you were just cutting around like and now you're like doing like shots that are specifically, you're just putting us in a different almost framework slightly for a minute, with a different tempo. But because everything was handheld, and if you do it the right way with the editing, you just blend it all in. But I was literally just flipping from documentary to just, and when we get to those scenes, whether it's the throat slashing, all that stuff, I just saw it. I didn't even know I was going to shoot it there. They were talking for like a couple of minutes before the kill, and we just walked. We were like, let's keep walking until I feel like get the scene. And wherever it is that I feel that we get the scene, wherever we land, that's where you're going to kill him. I had no idea that was going to be the place. It was just, the lighting was a certain way. I needed some darkness and just privacy for a second. So that worked, but we didn't even plan to do that specifically there. And then I just picture the whole movie in my head, and I go shot for shot. Since I'm alone and I'm doing sound and everything, I can just be like, okay, hold, and I shift and I do another shot that I know it's very specific, and the continuity is perfect because I'm doing it like 3 seconds after I've done the other one. So it's like I can do like 7 shots really quick and maybe like a take or two of each one. And I had a couple of effects people just waiting for me to be like, this is where we're going to kill, and they'd be like, okay, cool. And they rig them up and we do the shots really quick and boom, boom, boom. It was kind of like that. Just like the rock thing with Michelle Kowalski towards the end of the park. Yeah, that was kind of improvised, all that stuff, the rock stuff, and I just added, it's just stuff that it felt like it didn't go far enough, and at the moment you're like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this, and then that, that's sort of made you have to do like 4 more shots to establish that from the point that you were. So I'm always going forward, and I don't feel like I ever feel like I'm shooting something a certain way. I go to the opposite shot, I shoot something, and then I go back. I usually will go shoot something, move to the next thing, and then if it's within still that same moment, that same intimate interaction, the shot is just maybe higher, or I never go back to a shot I did. So I think that's also something that forces the narrative to always feel automatically move forward. It's always moving forward aesthetically. It never feels like you're cutting away to a camera that's set there that'll always cut to that person. It always feels like every moment is fleeting, and new ones are just piling. And the editing is just, I edit a lot for work and for films. So I get really sort of into it in terms of
Yeah, I think there's like a stark contrast between the long free form conversations that make up 90% of Fat Tuesday, and then the harsh like juxtaposition with the heavy editing, kind of like quick murders. It's such a like, you're flipping that trope narratively where, Friday the 13th has 13 features in its franchise, mainly because people enjoy watching the kill scenes, where the camera language almost made me feel like they were a utility that you needed, and it's kind of like, we're going to do these, but I really want to get back to the art that is, the parade. And I thought it was so interesting and powerful because you make the audience not look forward to a kill. Like when, somebody walks down an alley alone, you're like, to get out of there. Like, because if you're gone, you're just gone. And it's not something I'm going to be cheering for.
Yeah, I feel that that as I was making it, I didn't even notice the transition. In the editing, I realized, and I was very aware of this transition of like almost styles just abruptly when I was like, oh shit, I need to make a sound now. The fucking knife. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is where I'm at. Fuck, okay. So I at that moment I just opened up the recorded on my laptop, like no microphone, nothing. And I just went like once, and and then I grabbed it and I touched it up slightly, and then it was like done. And I was like, oh shit, now it feels like I'm seeing it and I'm hearing it. I was realizing all these things. My films were so documentary that they didn't really rely on specific punches for action. The action would be so unceremoniously like just not stylized at all. It'd be very like footage, like if somebody's beating up somebody, it's like the camera's just kind of trying to catch them. It's not like an angle from the top and sort of moving around. It had, so this was the first time where I was like, oh, okay, fuck, I gotta do sound. And then that just, it just meant that I had to be more aware of how I was cutting, and somehow I balanced it to where when I watch it, I would totally forget. And I was hoping people just wouldn't feel like, like it's jarring to watch.
Yeah, I mean it in the best way.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if you sit down and you watch like fucking Hatchet or something, it's almost a labor to get to the next kill. And you're like, this is why I'm here. I don't care about any of these characters, and neither did the writer. And yet in your film, it's almost like I almost felt like I could feel the editor just while he was cutting it, just kind of like, all right, we'll get through this. And it's like, it's such a good feeling it gave me. It's like we're taking the glory out of the murder. And I don't know, it was, dude.
Well, not so much the glory, but in a way it isolates it to where, for example, like a movie like if you took Halloween, like the first Halloween by Carpenter, and you didn't show the kill, and you were just deeply immersed in like her her relationship with the parents of the kid she's babysitting, and how they're going through a divorce, and she has a drug addiction and this and that, and it's so deep, and it's like, fuck, man, like, and mom's on, it's like, why aren't you come back from the fucking babysitting job, your father's fucking, he needs his fucking medicine, and then the fucking babysitter's like, and after tonight, Halloween, we're gonna blah blah blah, and it's just so intense that that's fucking living horror. And then all of a sudden, a fucking Michael Myers pops in and stabs. I mean, it's like, it's almost if you isolate it and you create this horror and this, it's like those little moments now of horror, as stylized as they are. I feel like they just come and like just puncture this infected, just just pussy thing, and just finally just really, all this, it just gets empty, and then it just piles up again before the next kill, kind of like stepping up the ante. But yeah, I think the isolation helps to just like cut through the reality of it, and like you said, remind us, oh shit, this is a fucking movie.
And God, it feels real too, because I mean, I'm sure all of us have gone down an alley to pee.
Real too.
And then you're just thinking, oh man, I could get off right here.
I mean, look, if you haven't peed on a street in New Orleans, you're not fully using the city to its full capacity.
I do have to say though, I have to clear up. The first Halloween is perfect as it is. Like there's nothing I want to change from that. I'm just saying it would be jarring if people were just like, what the fuck is this? These people have miserable lives. Oh shit, Michael Myers. You know, it's like, that would be fun to watch too.
I don't know. I think that the new Halloween really tied everything together, adding a podcast element into the canon. So now I think it's perfect. But Jorge, this was a blast, man. We love the film. We are excited for everything you've got in the future planned, and also, you know, we're also super excited to go back and look at all of your previous works and maybe the works that maybe you're hiding from the public. So,
well, I know you guys would love Death Wish for Vision. It's like made out of like over 200 films, and I just retell the franchise with all the other films around from those decades seamlessly in the editing color, and it's a monster, and I should send it to you guys.
Oh, please do. I mean, we pulled up Shadow Zombie and Sisters of Plague on Amazon. Like, we're excited. Your films, dude, they're fucking good. And everybody who's listening to this right now, you have to fucking go watch Fat Tuesday. I know I already threatened people last time I covered it, but it's fucking mind-boggling that nobody brought this. I mean, I'm glad we found it because we're cool.
Also, Russell, did you know he did music videos for Modest Mouse?
Did I? No, I don't think I did.
Yeah, I did Lampshades on Fire and
on Fire.
The Ground Walks from their latest album. Also, the same month, I did 2 Lamb of God videos for their first 2 videos that came out for, is it 512 and some other, I forgot.
So are you like, so you're in there, you're in the studio system, you're one of the cogs in this massive machine. And are you the type that like, you work on these projects and you never tell anybody about these fucking banger movies you have on Amazon Prime?
I mean, who am I gonna tell? Like, people,
you motherfucker. See, I hate that. So you're out there with like all these like, and you're just like, I'm making the real art.
He's
nowadays.
Creating, man. It's just about the creation.
It's weird. It's just growing up as a filmmaker that just has his head up his ass while making films. For so long, it becomes this thing where they start catching on, but then, so that means that I don't, you know, I don't know. It's like, I'm so horrible with the communication of sort of advertising yourself or like even promoting yourself, or, and it's just, it's hard. You know, I don't know, man.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the family.
We're all casting that same lot, my friend. We know that far too well. But Russ, anything else for Jorge?
I have a page of shit. I
understand.
I want to bring him back. We're going to need you to hook us up with Jason. We're going to need everything, all your movies. We're going to show up at your house. Dude, thank you for making Fat Tuesday. I mean, watching that in the heart of the lockdown couldn't have been, I mean, everybody always talks about social media is not real human connection. If you enjoy being a voyeur like me, this is as close as you can get to being in the fucking Mardi Gras with some, you know, cool friends that, you know, you don't really have.
And there's no smells. You don't have to worry about showers, even though you may feel like you want to shower. But yeah, also my favorite shot is at the end. When she's sort of swimming in the sea of trash.
Well, she's taking a photo for the first time.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful. Like, it's like if you are making a film and it's about the urban legend of the tourist, that's really the middle finger as they're walking away there. And it's so powerful. Yeah. Randy, you better fucking watch this movie tonight.
I know. I think I will. It sounds very up my alley.
It's a dark outro. That we knew that was the end of the movie because I'd seen that before. And I was just, you know, I was in awe. I was like, oh, this is... Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for the love. It's great, man. I'll be back as many times and fucking, you know, talk about cinema.
Awesome, man.